Round one, fight!
No sparrow, does this word not sound like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead.
What if the fake news canceled the world's most beloved heroes? When a tragic attack ends the lives of precious innocents, our most celebrated heroes find themselves blamed and canceled by the media that once glorified them. Now in hiding, will they be able to trust each other long enough to prove their innocence? Well, they better fight as hard as they can, because if they don't, an even bigger tragedy is coming. And this time, it will cost millions of lives. Truth, Justice, American Way, the 64-page full-color graphic novel. Get yours today, only on Indiegogo. Wednesday, August 31st. Guys, summer is over. I have never seen Roadhouse before. I know that doesn't take away from my credit as an action movie junkie. Somehow I missed this one. But I would be remiss if I didn't show you something that shocked, stunned, terrified, and made me laugh. Let me share this with you really quick. I must share this. It's only a few seconds. I absolutely have to share this. And then we'll welcome in the guest. Jericho's here, Shante. This is too much.
Way too much.
What?
Why?
We will get into that. We will get into that later. I don't even know that character's name. I just nicknamed him Rico in my own head. I don't know why.
Why?
But yeah. So, some people, when they go to prison, they get a law degree. Some people find Islam. Some people learn a skill or they work in the cafeteria. This guy kept himself very busy, though, according to him. So we will get to that. That is a fascinating part of this movie. How is everyone doing? Jericho, you were not feeling good this morning. How you doing?
I'm great. I was not. I had a little bit of a headache. I was just feeling off, but
is it
I'm ready.
Is it hot?
No, I don't think so. It's going to be. We're looking at 112 this weekend. So it's going to be.
It is blazing weather in San Diego.
Yeah.
That is hot for us. We are all crying. We're all crying because it cracked 80, as it does about 2-3 weeks a year here. So, it's too much here. 82, very hot. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing good. Jericho sent me a message this morning. He saw that clip you posted from Roadhouse, and he said, "I just don't feel good now." He's like, "I'm not okay with that."
All right.
We've got to find that scene from every copy in the movie and have it eradicated from the face of the earth.
Everybody who's watching right now, throughout this live stream, you will learn that there was no provocation for that line. It came out of nowhere, left field, the woodwork, wherever it came from. Yeah. That nobody saw that line coming.
We have different theories. Maybe we should put a poll up. What is that guy's name? I called him Rico. What should we call him? I could put a poll in the chat.
Do we have to call it a poll?
Absolutely.
Yeah, really. Survey. Can we please call that a survey?
I'm going to mute myself I'm going to open my YouTube and mute myself and make the.
I want to call him. I want to call him Denim. That's what I want to call him because he was wearing nothing but through that whole movie. What do you call it? A Canadian tuxedo?
Yeah,
denim from head to toe. So I'm gonna call him Denim.
Yeah. This movie, and hail to the chat, guys. It's great to see you guys here. Jericho, it is great to be back with you here. We had some fun this week. Yes. Really revealing your true self to people who do not see the ponytail in the spirit world that you walked this earth with. And that is, I don't know. Was it tough for your wife when she saw that video to see your true self and realize, this ponytailed lion lurking within?
Well, after I pulled her off of me.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. That goes without saying, Jericho.
I finally got her to calm herself and get off of me. It was great, but the ponytail is definitely the main course. But any main course has good sides, right? And I would have to say that flowing silk top also deserves some credit because that was the early 90s. If you had to put the early 90s into one clothing item, it was that flowy silk top. So I respect it. And I like how it kind of came in from the side like old video game, like the next fighter. There's layers to this, people. Layers.
That was a fun, 8 hours of work doing that. And I will tell you this, man. The thing about it is when I make these videos and I do these things, I've done a lot of these for different channels and my own channel and stuff like that. The big thing was you look at people, and I mean this totally sincerely. You look at people and you go, what does this person need in this thing? And I go, he's got to have a sword. Like he's just got Jericho a sword. Like it's the perfect way for him to come into frame, man. And when I saw it, I died. That's it. That's the one.
It makes too much sense. Real quick, I put a little poll in the chat. Let me share the screen.
A survey.
The poll in the chat says, Denim said to Dalton he used to F guys like him in prison because he loved Dalton. He hated how much he loved Dalton. He was drunk. Right now, he hated how much he loved Dalton is in the lead. So we'll come back to that later in the show. We will come back to that. We'll see how that turns out. But Roadhouse, guys, I love the action movies. Action movies. What am I? I've seen them all. Seagal, Van Damme, Chuck Norris, not as much, but fucking Death Wish, all of it. I love it all. Somehow I missed this movie. How did I miss this movie? Bigfoot, the monster truck was in this movie. How did I miss this movie? I have the Bigfoot toy with the switches to change the gears or whatever right above me where I have my old toy collection here in my garage in the rafters. How did I miss this movie?
I think what we need to focus on, Gabe, is the fact that you've seen it now. Don't focus on what you missed. Focus on what you have now. And now you have the memories of Roadhouse. And I took some detailed notes, guys. There's some things in this movie that stood out to me. The line we were just talking about that sparked this survey. I'm not going to call it a poll. The survey, I was watching it with my son because I had to watch it. I was watching it and he was home, so he was watching it with me. And when that line came on, my mother-in-law was in the room, and she looked up at me, and I was like, I know that line came out of nowhere. You don't expect that,
right?
And in a movie like this, that is saying something. And you've got a super chat in there from Hunch the Dirty Roofer.
I will check that out, but I want to also throw something else on the screen real quick.
Please do it.
I want people to see this because people are coming in late. This is the new Double Impact Triple Threat. Gabe Shanth and Jericho Green. That is quite the ponytail you've got there, Jericho. Looking svelte.
Just look at the scowl work on these three. Look at that. Look at those eyes.
You know what?
All right. Everybody's serious.
Wait. Okay, we're gonna do a little improv comedy. We each have a tagline. Mine is with the gun. I tell you guys, I woke up feeling dangerous. All right, what's yours? Go next. Who's next? I'll read this super chat while you think. I'll read the super chat. Hunch the Dirty Roofer, one of the great fans. He's always here. He gave me $10 to buy Starship Troopers, the novel, the audiobook. One of the best things I've ever read. Should be required reading for kids in school. Starship Troopers is nothing like the movie, which I also love, which is totally cheesy, but the book, amazing. Hunch the Dirty Roofer for $5 generous dollars. Thank you. Jericho, take some Motrin, drink a little water, and change your fucking socks.
Hey.
You'll be good as new.
I will take that advice. Thank you very much.
Right.
I think my line's going to be, because I think by the look on my face, it's like, you want this? You want this?
Ooh.
You like that with the tongue? Huh? You want that?
Oh, yeah. A little tongue there.
I got to tell you, I don't have a line, but I have a tagline for this movie.
Okay.
If you don't mind, which is, they're booyah-based and in your face.
I love it. Yeah. So we got I woke up feeling dangerous. Okay,
now they're booyah-based and on the case. Like, where's
I got 50 gallons of fucking booyah, babe.
Oh, my God. All right. So I just wanted people to see that new artwork. The great Sean did that for us. Joseph Fazio with the wow, look at that thumbnail of his, that avatar.
Excellent.
That's a little disturbing, but very cool. For $2, thank you so much. He solved all his problems with roundhouse kicks. He did. You know,
he
did. Man,
Life
Patrick
lessons.
Swayze's his fighting style was unorthodox. I'll say,
to say the least,
because coming off with Seagal and Van Damme, these are trained martial artists, right? Swayze's not a martial artist. He's just kind of a dancer, a street brawler, and Tai Chi. He does a lot of things. And I'll tell you this, whatever he does, how big, how small, who he's with, where it is, what time it is, you better believe he's going to do it with no underwear on. Nobody had underwear in this movie. Underwear was not allowed on the set.
There was that scene where he gets out of bed, pulls on his jeans, and didn't put on underwear because they really do a tight focus on his butt.
Dude,
give the ladies a little bit of man candy, I guess. So.
Yeah, that was like an 80s action movie trope. The Mel Gibsons, you always seeing the stars rump. But this starts off with the Ferrari Testarossa.
That's right.
Shout out to the Ferrari Testarossa.
Is that what
that brings back so many?
Is that what Magnum PI drove? Can I tell a quick Magnum PI story?
Yes,
when I was in kindergarten, we went to Honolulu to visit my aunt and uncle and cousins because my uncle's an air traffic controller there. Oh, and my mom went out to dinner with my aunt and uncle, and they ran into Magnum PI on the street. And he sent a signed headshot to my family to our house back in Colorado when we got back home. And he mailed it to us, autographed and signed everything. And it sat on my dresser from like the first or second grade all the way through middle school. But it wasn't even for me. It was for my mom. It said, to Rebecca, blah, blah, blah. And I just had a headshot of Tom Selleck. I could probably find it here in the attic or something. But yes, for some reason, I had a Tom Selleck photo not made out to me on my dresser. So that's my Magnum PI.
That's awesome, man. That was his Testarossa, man. That shit was awesome, man. I saw that. It brought back a lot of memories.
Oh, man, we loved that, man. That was the car. That was the car. Yeah, and they're saying Magnum PI was the Ferrari 308. That's right.
Oh, was it?
Because that was
okay.
Yeah, the Testarossa came out, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. His was like it had like the shorter back, longer front. Yeah, that's right.
It was all Matchbox cars I had, or large die-cast metal cars. I was obsessed with Ferraris. They were just amazing.
Right.
Beautiful. A beautiful
Right.
machine. Ferrari and
So-
Lamborghini, they ruled the 80s.
Yeah, they did.
So no one in my family's seen this movie until I watched it, and then my daughter watched it because that's how she takes all the screenshots. She watches it and then screenshots it for me. The premise of this movie is so absurd that I love it. Dalton, the man with he's Dalton. He's known around the country as the biggest badass cooler, which is like a head bouncer. Yeah. And I just have to suspend my disbelief because I don't even know how that works. The bar owners, because it's not like there was the internet back then. This is 1985. So they're like a trade magazine, and they're like ranking top 10.
Around.
It's like a list called Billy Badass.
Yellow Pages.
Or maybe it's a list called Woke Up Feeling Dangerous, a list of the best bouncers around. And this guy right here, who looks a little bit like he could be related to Biff from Back to the Future, but not exactly. He shows up in his Ferrari, but he's got the bolo tie. So he's like Southern or Texas or something. Yeah. He shows up from Missouri, Jasper, Missouri, where he has a bar, and he comes here to New York City to get Dalton, where Dalton's working at this bar in New York, kicking a lot of ass at this bar. So the premise of it already is completely insane to me. So I saw this as a 44-year-old. You guys are what? Young guys when you saw this, right?
Oh, yeah, 10, 11 years old. He actually showed up in a limousine that said airport limousine service. And I was like, man, I figured to be able to get something without a business name on the side to give him a ride. But, that's how he got there, man.
The reason why nobody saw this, or not, some people didn't see this movie. I saw it when I was a kid, and we loved this movie because of just a throat getting ripped out. That was the gist of our affection. That and the tape, though, all the tapes they made for this were defective. They kept wearing during the scene with the doctor in it, So right. I don't know. I mean, that was a VHS problem back in the day, I guess. But right. The thing about this flick was that this is an actor who was known primarily at this point for Dirty Dancing.
So Dirty Dancing was before this. I don't remember that order. Okay.
And so the thing about it is nobody knows this guy as an action star. So action fans don't imagine they're going to go watch a movie where they're going to see the Dirty Dancing guy, fight like a badass. And women are probably not expecting that fight scene line to suddenly appear. So the audience for this was somewhere in the middle, but it was, I think what they were trying to do was to try to make him out to be kind of a wandering Mel Gibson and Lethal Weapon was my sense of it,
right.
And there you go.
I think, Henry Damas has the answer to my question. Maybe he got Cooler of the Year award from Coolers Monthly. Of course. I forgot about Coolers Monthly.
Because everybody knew him and everybody knew his friend. I'm not going to give away who that friend is yet, but everybody knew him too. Yeah. How did the word get around so fast on the bar circuit where they know who this dude is? And of course, they always tell him the same thing when they meet him.
Right. Yep. And they do. Speaking on him being in Dirty Dancing and being a handsome, like romantic lead, and he's famous for dancing and all that, not famous for action. And they also comment 2 or 3 times in the movie that he's little. It's like, I thought you'd be bigger. And while he's very fit, he's not jacked. He's not The Rock or what. That guy's on steroids, or The Rock's a phony anyway. But he's not huge. But he's very, lithe, very muscular. But he's not a big guy. Anyway, they start off to teach you what a badass he is he's in the bar. These two guys, they really get into some nonsense, insulting some girls. This idiot pulls out a switchblade. They take it outside, slashes his shoulder, and he stitches it up himself. And then Not Biff offers him the new job in outside of Kansas City in Jasper, Missouri, I believe.
Yes, and, which is a lawless land.
Right.
This guy. That guy is he was in Action Jackson too. He worked in the hotel or whatever where Action Jackson was staying. And the band, when they open up that band, the lead singer is the same guy from Desperado.
Yeah.
Is it?
He was in that bar scene with Cheech Marin where the girl says, "And by the way, your beer tastes like piss." And he goes, "I know, because we pissing it." that guy was in that shit too. There's a lot of familiar faces in here, but the fact that he could stitch himself up, no anesthetic, with a straight face was amazing.
That's right.
Right. And J-Do with the creepy teddy bear with dentures. I think that's that movie Novocaine with Steve Martin had that in it. When I think of Swayze, my mind immediately snaps to that SNL skit with Chris Farley, where they were male exotic dancers.
Yeah, and Farley didn't want to do this scene because he felt embarrassed. Yeah. They kind of forced him to do it. He didn't want to get out there next to Swayze, you know, with Swayze looking the way he looks. But speaking of Swayze, and I wrote this somewhere later in my notes, but we can talk about it now since it's there. Swayze's hair. I don't know if it had its own agent, if it had its own trailer on set.
Yes.
But that hair is something, man. That hair is something to be respected. In the vein of Riggs, you know, that 80s Farrah Fawcett, I don't know, whatever you want to call that. But the hair was on point for Mr. Swayze. All right.
Yeah, that is some serious 80s hair. Looking good. Even got the little curl coming down in the front.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, and not for a downer, but when I saw that picture, it just popped in my mind. I'm like, may they both rest in peace. I mean, my God.
Oh my gosh, Farley and him,
yeah. I mean, talk about two guys we could probably use for some humor and some action and some fun, man. There you go.
Muttman says if Swayze had lived, he'd be doing straight to streaming tough guy movies. Nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that.
We'd be talking about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Every week.
Oh my gosh. There might
be on the show.
Would you imagine? Can you imagine Netflix does like a Roadhouse TV show a la Cobra Kai? That would be
love it.
That would be amazing.
That'd be tight.
Yep.
We can really get into the story of Jasper.
Right. Oh, hold on. Super chat. Let me read that real quick. I always like to get those out of the way. General Piggy with a very creepy avatar that I like. Hello, my fellow Americans. I love it.
That's right.
Thank you. Very generous. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for that, Hamilton.
You had some comments about Jasper, Missouri, huh?
Well, it's a lawless land because I wrote in all capitals, where are the police? I think that's a valid question because you have the bad guy. What was it? Wesley? The main bad guy. What's his name?
He's the same bad guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
Yeah, Ben Gazzara is his real name. Because he's wilding out. He is burning shit. He is beating people. He is driving monster trucks into structures. And I didn't hear. Only siren we heard was the fire truck toward the end. That's the only lights and sirens that we see. This dude is just running amok in this town.
Right. Oh, yeah. We only see the cops, spoiler, in the very last scene. And even their police work, we'll get to it. But it's like, really? That's your police work when you're investigating like a murder? But I do wish I had seen this movie because I told you I had the, not the action figure, but I had this toy as a kid. Hold on. Let me bring it up. I have this toy. It's somewhere above me in the rafters of my house. And if you're a bad guy, like our bad guy in this movie, I forget it's Wesley. If you got this in your arsenal, you are a top fucking G. You know, there's no way you have Bigfoot in your arsenal. You're not a badass. So shout out to a guy I'm gonna call Wesley because I don't remember his name.
Yes, Brad Wesley. You got it.
Okay.
Where do you buy a monster truck? Like, who do you have to know to get a monster truck? You got one
in Jasper, Missouri. No, it's like
you got to be tied into Jasper.
I'll tell you this too. That Gabe was saying this earlier, and he's so right. Bigfoot at that time, you know, that he should have gotten second billing. Like he should have been on the poster.
Yeah. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird? That's the exact toy I have. It's in my.
That's the one I had too. We both had that.
It's literally above me in the rafters here. This is a vehicle, and it was a quasi celebrity in the 80s. It's not even a person, and it was sort of a celebrity.
That's a cartoon.
For those of you that weren't there in the 80s, fucking A, you missed out, guys. What a time to be alive. What a fun time.
This was on par with like Hulk Hogan and things of that nature, just larger than life. I don't know if you call this a character, but I mean, Bigfoot was huge, man. Like I couldn't even tell you who the driver of Bigfoot was, not one of them. But Bigfoot, that's if you do an 80s Mount Rushmore, you have to put Bigfoot on there.
It's like Bigfoot, Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, and the Rubik's Cube.
I just heard more Photoshop work for me. That's all I heard in that. More Photoshop work. The Rushmore with Bigfoot. That's like we have to make that happen now. And the double
all those characters, Mr. T, Incredible Hulk Hogan, and the Rubik's Cube inside of Bigfoot on Mount Rushmore.
Right. Yeah, that's driving over Mount Rushmore, the truck, you know.
It's got to come back, man. All this stuff, when you think about, because I was listening to a stream earlier, and I feel like all of us are starting to kind of converge on equal ground on this stuff. But all of this stuff is, you take a guy who's a dancer, who's a movie star, and the objective of a movie like this is to masculinize him, to make him more masculine. Our goal was not to make Until You Get to Tu Wong Fu. Our goal was not to make these guys more feminine. And so in a lot of ways, the monster truck being mainstream is very much about that. It's bigger, it's badder, it's going to crush and destroy things. And destruction was big in all these movies, as was, standing. Oh my Lord. As was, because that's their thing. That's what they need to do. That was like the first shot across, one of the many big shots across the bow of where we were heading.
I forgot one of the ultimate badasses, Wesley Snipes, who I still think is a badass. Snipes, was in. I forgot he was in this. Yeah, I've never seen it either. I've wondered about it since I was a kid. I've never seen it.
Well, I think I can go. I can go to my grave without seeing that one for sure. But I don't think you couldn't, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. You couldn't talk them into making movies like that back then. Like that would be no way they would do that shit. Like what? Those guys were smoking cigars and squeezing ass cheeks, man. They weren't about that bullshit.
That's right.
Now,
here we are.
Now, the first rule of improv is yes and. You do not contradict your scene partners. I will say though, this is the worst. This is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Deadpool is the second worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I hate Deadpool. I'll never back down from that. Junior, I saw this in a double feature at the Carousel Cinema in Escondido, California for $1 with Pulp Fiction. And even though I paid $1, I fucking overpaid because this movie is a piece of shit. So yeah,
what a duo of movies. This and Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction was great.
That's what I'm saying. That was awesome. And to be played with this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jericho, I think you hit the nail on the head with one thing unexpectedly. When I put the sword on that image of you in that, it was the same eureka moment as seeing Bruce Willis walking down the stairs with a katana. It was the same. This should have always been.
Right.
And he was wearing the same kind of like flowy kind of top. It was like a short kind of tucked in, rayon silk kind of thing. Maybe the katana brings out that kind of wardrobe in somebody.
It does.
But yeah, when he went out there, when he went back into the pawn shop and he was looking for what to grab, he got that katana. Oh shit.
But yeah, I mean, guys, if you want to track the decline, right, the decline of all of this stuff we're talking about, look no further than those last two movies. Don't ever, 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 think that it's a small thing when Hollywood pitches to a masculine actor. You know what you should do to take your career to the next level? And Chappelle talked about this, man. He talked about this a ton. It's like, why do you need to do that? Like, why is that something that you need these actors to do? And it's something that, it's a beta with money pressure play.
Right.
I want to see these guys who are movie stars and have something I'll never be, and I want to try to emasculate them. And I think that's what this movie is the opposite of.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're turning the fancy dancer into a Billy Badass known as Dalton. Mm-hmm. It's a great name too, Dalton. That's a masculine name.
Dalton, yeah.
That name implies like action. It implies hitting something. It sounds like an attack or something. Dalton. It's nice staccato, Dalton. But I got a quick Dave Chappelle, very funny joke I heard him tell. 2017, I'm working on Green Arrow for DC Comics. The writers of the TV show Arrow are writing the comic. I call DC and say, hey, let's go into Hollywood at the Meltdown, famous comic book store and comedy club. I'll go there and autograph it with the writers. We're all Southern California. Promote the book. I'm always trying to promote. We go down there, we do that. And the owner of the comic book store tells me and my daughter, who came with me, she was a high schooler at the time. And remember, she's a stand-up comedian. Yeah. He says, hey, do you guys want to come to the comedy show? The Meltdown. It was a show on Comedy Central. Big comics drop in there. Aziz Ansari, Chelsea Peretti, Kumail Nanjiani, all these great people were doing stand-up. And I guess during the show, Aziz called Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle came in and did 45 minutes. Now, you guys got to understand, this is a back room the size of a kindergarten classroom. There's like 45 seats at the Meltdown. It's intimate. I was this far from Dave Chappelle. And he was talking about being a rich celebrity and a poor loser when he started. And I'll never forget one of the things he said, because it was very funny, but I think it was true. He said, "You know how rich I had to get before I could tell people I like to fuck feet?" So I will never forget that the rest of my life.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he said in a special that he likes white girls with dirty feet. That's why he moved to Ohio to that farm town.
Oh, yeah, that's
like
right.
White bitches with dirty feet.
Well, it's so funny, too. You asked a question, too, that to me is also that speaks kind of to this whole American thing, right? Which is, where are the police? In the fantasy world of these action movies, the police were either, given a prescription of take this shotgun and unmarked car and call me in the morning, right? Or they were in this world where it was very much about individuals having to stand up for themselves and not being rescued. The police were either the individuals standing up for what's right outside of, dare I say, above the law. No, outside the law to take care of people who thought they were above the law, or they were people who came into town, like, in the Western, the new marshals in town. Yeah. And now we've got to lay waste to all these people. We got to handle it on our own. Because, what is that line? Gosh, I'm trying to think of what movie it's from. Oh, God, Big Trouble in Little China, of course. He's like, why don't you call the cops? And he goes, because cops have better things to do than get killed.
Yep.
That is, and there's something about the 80s in that way that is freaking beautiful, man.
And I miss that pullout at the end of the action movie after he's killed all 58 of the guys. He's got the girl. They're sitting on the bumper of the ambulance wrapped in that green wool blanket that every ambulance has. Yep. And then you got the pullout where you're seeing the cops come and everything. You got some corny one-liners and voiceover, but it was always, the cops always came after. They were kind of just to clean up, just to write a report, chalk outline. But the star, whoever that action star was, he did all the heavy lifting. He took care of all the bad guys.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's always, what we're always celebrating in these movies is the hero's journey, the chosen one. Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces. If you guys haven't read that, you definitely should. Yeah. It's dense. I went over it, but it's very, very useful to read. And that's why they don't involve the cops typically. And even if it is an organization like the cops or the military, they'll single out one guy like Casey Ryback. And now, even though he's part of the military can't help. He's still got to do it alone. And the story here is always that hero's journey of, are you going to be a man when the bell rings and they're calling you and you're being called, you, Jericho, you, Sean, not me. When they're calling you, will you have what it takes? Because this is probably one of the most important aspects of being a man is to deny our fear. It's terrifying, right? The fear, right? It can be crippling. And you see people waste their lives because of fear. And the great thing about these movies, as silly as they are, monster trucks and boobies and a weird Korean War veteran who runs the town of Jasper, Missouri.
Yeah, he was badass.
But that's all the sugar to make the medicine go down, so you can get the message that, I could roundhouse kick someone if I had to, for justice, for goodness. So
or rip their throat out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever it calls for. Why can't cops drive? Because in every action movie, the cops are crashing into each other. They can't make the turn. They can't keep up with the bag of cops. Are the worst drivers in history. But unfortunately, we didn't get any of that in this movie because there were no police.
Henry Bemis brings up something that was subconscious for me. I always thought the girl best friend was cute in this movie. Anyone else? I agree with you, Henry. She's not good looking, but she's like in that. The French have a word for it. I forget what the word is. But it's like you're kind of ugly or weird looking, so it makes you beautiful and cute because you're very unique looking. She's definitely got a look. I don't think she's hot or anything, but there's something about her that's endearing. Maybe it's her acting or the way her character's written.
She's not good looking, but as the shot goes on, she's looking good.
Yeah, she. And I think they're smoking real cigarettes in this movie because you can tell like the clove fake Hollywood cigarettes. This was like real cigarette smoke, and I think that's where he got cancer from in real life, smoking. He had the Marlboro Reds and the cigarette right on the bedside. Because when she showed up at his place we were talking about earlier, showing his ass, she shows up to his house and is like, "Hey, wake up!" And he gets up and puts on his pants with no underwear and smokes a Marlboro Red. Man, it was beautiful.
All right, I think this is our term in French, jolie. I took French for 3 years. I know the first word is jolie, means like pretty, and light. Is that how we'd say that? I don't know. But that must be it, where you're kind of ugly, funny looking, so it makes you uniquely pretty.
Beautiful, strange kind of thing.
Yeah, she wouldn't get kicked out of the bed for eating crackers. That's for sure.
Well, and here's another thing about these movies: why these guys were often, you got the butt shot in these movies, not just for the actor who shows up. Holy shit! Sorry, I got to take a moment. Let me take a knee here for a minute.
Yeah, my bad.
Keep going. Focus.
No, I'm done. No, I think I might be done. No, but here's the thing I would say is that why you always got that shot is because what we were trying to do is present these. Well, first of all, that was where your female audience came from in these movie theaters. That's how you got her to the movie theater back in the day. I mean, I was a kid, so I wasn't taking anybody to the movies, but that's how they appealed to the female audience. And they saw that with Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, that they had a demographic that skewed a little bit more. But they were also showing in these movies, these are the kinds of guys you should want. They served a bigger purpose. This guy is tough. He doesn't take any shit. You can tell him, I think you should just leave. And he's going to be like, no, I got to fucking finish this shit. Yeah. And they have, this because they have the shot with the gal who's the friend who works at the bar. And she's seeing him and he's like, nonchalant. She's seeing him. She's like going, damn. And that's a scene they used to show a lot. Shoot, you saw that with Kelly LeBrock in Hard to Kill. Yeah. She's admiring God's work.
Right.
Yeah, and she when she told him, when his romantic interest tells him, you need to get out of here, he's like, no, I got to stay here and I got to fight this dude and have him whisper uncomfortable shit in my ear when we're fighting. Like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I'm sorry about that, Sean.
I almost ruined a painting. I just want to point that out.
There we go.
Jericho's like, the safety's off, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
can't get over that.
I just threw it up there just to put a bow on this. Jolie Led. Jolie Led. That's the soft J, the J. Jolie Led. A woman whose face is attractive despite having ugly features. The French. You got to love the French, man.
Damn.
It sounds so much more harsh when you read it.
Yeah, it sounds mean that way. I don't think she has ugly features. They're just something.
If you compliment a woman like that, don't translate
it. Yeah. She's an ugly bitch, but she. But yeah, that was a little.
For those of you out there, if you're in the dating scene, do not tell women about this terminology. It doesn't translate to English well at all.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So anyway, he goes from New York to Jasper. And he goes to the Double Deuce.
Yes.
And he's going to do his first night of kind of monitoring things, getting the lay of the land. And he sees some interesting things. He sees this. He sees two interesting things right here. But he sees funny stuff going on.
This is one of my favorites.
Right.
This is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Someone has written for a great F, called blah, blah, blah. And he, the owner of the bar uses a marker to change it for a great Buick. Now, where do you guys come down on the old trope of 555, blah, 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 blah?
That's
when I see 555, it kind of takes me out of the movie. It's like, oh, yeah, this is fake. Like, why don't they just use a real number? But I know why. I guess it's fine. It's not a big deal.
And it's always 555. No matter what movie, what kind of movie, it's always 555. It's just, it's just, I don't know, one of those things. But it's, when I saw that, he writes for a great Buick, like not a great car. You need to be interested in a Buick, and I got one for you.
That's right.
But that shit is great, and how the fight gets kicked off in this scene here is also, it's the physical equivalent to him telling him, "I used to fuck guys like you in prison."
On that note, hold on. Here was the end of my little promo vid. Turn it up. I like that. I like the at the end of that too. Like, damn, dude, that was guttural. That was from within.
I'm gonna actually do a cut of that movie where I audio, overlay that, and he goes, "I used to Buick guys like you."
You want a Buick? Oh man.
Yep.
What's it gonna take for me to get you in this Buick today?
You tell me. You give me a number. I'll run back, talk to my guy.
Right. I used to put guys like you in Buick when I was in prison.
I used to Buick all over guys like you when I was in prison.
That's right.
No.
But the fight is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like the guy, he tells him, "Hey, for $20, you can you can kiss her tits." and then
Yes.
but the guy just ends up rubbing her tits for like 30 seconds. It was so weird, man. So
Yeah,
weird.
I don't have a picture of that. Sorry, but yeah, there's a guy, 50 years old, kind of fat bald guy with his like hot younger lady.
Yeah.
Flat boobs sticking out. He tells the rednecks at another table, "Hey, for $10 each, you can kiss each boob, or $20." The guy says, "Okay," comes up and starts just like honking them. And then the older guy gets a picture and says, "Well, you gonna kiss him or what?" And then he goes, "I ain't got $20." And then just this happens after that.
Melee.
Yeah, it's like WrestleMania 7 or something happens, you know.
And Biff's relative, the owner, he says when he goes to get Dalton in New York City, he says Double Deuce is a kind of place where you sweep up the eyeballs at the end of the night.
That's right.
Holy shit, man! What kind of
Well,
shit
double.
is
That's what
this?
Double Impact is, man. We're here. We're sweeping up eyeballs. But I gotta say this too, because someone else in that in the previous shot that you had right there was blind musician, outstanding musician, Jeff Healey, man, and who passed away in 2008. He was a Canadian blues, rock, and jazz singer, guitarist, and songwriter. And really, what a talent, man! What a talent!
Yeah, he's great in this movie because he's really performing. You know, I'm sure they edit the audio so it sounds nice and clean. But you've got a real musician with a small acting role, and it's fantastic. He's like the nightly entertainment at this dive. I don't think he's supposed to be playing himself, obviously. Yeah. But it's great to have a real musician. I thought that was a really fun touch. And so the fight's totally ridiculous over a $20 boob.
But he was just giving her a fucking mammogram for like 30 seconds. Like it was just so weird to see him do that. I was thinking, what is that girl thinking? Like she's like, when are they gonna yell cut?
Right. It felt like a joke. It felt like a joke your uncle would tell you when you were like 8 or 9 years old, you know?
Exactly.
He's like, "Well, you gonna kiss him or what?" He's like, "I ain't got $20." And
my goodness. And that just kicked off.
Now hold on. Time out, because I have a bone to pick with this. So in this scene, you got Jeff Healey. He's playing music. Everything's cool. People are dancing. Things are very rowdy. Then the guy grabs the boobs and the fight starts. But before all that, they feature the guy. See the red sleeve behind the armpit?
Mm-hmm.
The shirtless man behind him. You got this buff, blonde guy, and he's not a main character in the movie, but he's dancing with his date in the middle of this country bar or whatever. And he's just like getting down with no fucking shirt on. And I can't make heads or tail. And he's got tight jeans on. Have you ever seen someone at a bar without a shirt? I don't think I have.
I haven't. But if this is the kind of place where you have to sweep up eyeballs at the end of the night, you can't enforce a dress code. Those two things, you can't demand class and dignity and then have, people's eyeballs in the sawdust.
It's only weird if he's wearing shoes. That's all I gotta say. Because
man, you got shoes
barefoot,
on.
it's fucked
Don't
up.
be an asshole. You got shoes on. And this must have been must have been filmed in the summer because everybody's very wet and sweaty. There's a scene later where Dalton's partner comes into town and there's a scuffle out back, and Patrick Swayze is just hair soaked, stuck to his face. So this had to have been filmed in the summer.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, look at the chaos. That guy, I think he got a bottle in the head.
Yes.
It's insanity. And that's the first night that Dalton at his new job in Jasper, Missouri. And he got $5,000 to start and $500 a night. Do you know what kind of money that was in 1985 or 6? That's insane money.
And the guy said, "I can handle that."
Right.
Biff's cousin said, "I can handle that. No problem."
Even now, it'd be decent. And I think Dalton makes his assessment, but he doesn't fire anyone yet, does he? Or does he do it that night, or do they do it the next day?
No, he does it when he actually comes in and he's in the black tee and he's on the job. That's when he starts handing out the pink slips. And that car dealership, that is my dad used to have this car, 65 Riviera with the hideaway lights.
Right.
There you go. Classic,
plenty of room. The boat, it's a big boat. It would take you a minute to get up to speed, but when you did, you were just cruising, and those hideaway lights were so slick, man. That's one of those. If I make it rich, I'm gonna have a fully restored 65 Riv.
Let's go into that right now. Tell me the exact name of 1965. What?
Buick Riviera. See, Buick. Buick must have money in this. Because I used a Buick on guys' faces when I was in prison. Now he's driving a Buick. Buick had money in here. Somewhere.
You're telling me that I could see Jericho Green driving this thing? Hold on.
That's right.
Look how clean that is. Look at that. Look at
that front. The nickname of this car will be the panty dropper. Are you kidding me?
That,
Look
if a girl,
at that.
if a woman gets in that car, her panties will evaporate.
That
There's
you know
no
what?
way she can do that.
that right there though is funny. It's like you look at these designs and you go, that is when we knew how to make cars.
Right.
We knew how to design cars. When
Yeah.
you look at all of the like new, like look, they've got this new design. Aren't they always just kind of trying to scratch the very surface of cars back then? Because this looks like something if Tesla or somebody rolled out a like pared down version of this, you can see it. But you don't
clean.
get better than these.
That's good. And then the lights, they open up for the headlights. Man, that car is amazing.
Look
I
at
love
this.
that thing.
The most technologically advanced car in the history of the world, and it looks so fucking ugly. I live in Southern California. There are Teslas everywhere.
Yep.
And these cars, maybe they're technological marvels. I don't know. They're ugly as shit, and I will not back down from that. They are ugly ass
They
cars.
look horrible. It looks like that Buick shit that thing out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla. That looks. So I'd much rather have that 65 rim.
Look,
Man. That thing
look
is
at that.
beautiful.
Look
beautiful.
at this. Are you kidding me with this shit?
It's sexy. And I seen a black on black rib, fully restored, black rims, black interior. I mean, it's just look at that.
Yeah, I think in the art world, Sean, if you could speak on this, we'll take a detour into art for just a minute, and then we'll come back to a crazy redneck bar. And there was a great comment here, by the way. Chad Townsend, this isn't a bar, this is the Cracker Barrel.
What do you mean you're out of chicken fried steak and Sean puts a chair through a fucking wall?
That's what started the fight. They were at a chicken fried steak. Shit.
Right.
And I'm afraid we're out of sawmill
say,
gravy. What the
I would say this is, to me, kind of sums up modern art. Modern art made by narcissists. Yeah. And I'm not pointing at Tesla. Maybe they're good artists, whatever. Versus back when people were not narcissists. Because a reason a narcissist can't make good art is because a narcissist's entire identity is a lie. And they're actually very insecure, shameful people. They hate themselves, which is sad. So they build up this perfect person of arrogance so they can never be vulnerable. When you make an insane design like this Buick here, that's vulnerability because someone might say this is stupid, this design. You know what I mean? But if you do this and it looks like a fucking bar of soap, you played it safe. No one's really going to critique you. It's down the fucking middle. And so I think narcissism is the death of art. Holy shit, Shant. What do you got here?
This is what we do on Double Impact, okay? We make artwork that makes you want to Buick. You understand what I'm saying?
You will Buick your pants, I promise.
Right.
This is what we do here on Double Impact. This is what art is, man.
But that's not just art. That is someone who has an appreciation for the female form. That's not like, hey, draw a woman. No, there's more to just drawing a woman. Your appreciation for that and your love for that frame has to come through. And
that's right.
It does.
That is. You have to, man. I mean, if and that's the thing, right? There's a lot of the art we see today, and I mean, movies, entertainment. You just want to go to the makers of these things and just check to see if they have a pulse, like if they've ever had a heartbeat with any blood in it, as they've experienced this incredible, temporary life experience we have. Like, what are you doing it for? It's like, their life seems like it's an exercise, like the living embodiment of filing your taxes every day. It's ridiculous,
Boring.
Yeah, you're not supposed to look at them, with, any kind of aspiration. Yet you have a young generation. When I was coming up, I looked at people who were tough, strong, heroic human specimens in a lot of ways like what Doc Savage was in the early pulp stories. And, I was a little kid. I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be Rambo in First Blood Part 2. I don't know how an arrow explodes a person like that, but I want to find the fuck out. And if they take my girl out, I am going to have an ear necklace by the end of this shit. That's what's going to happen. I will bury myself in the mud, and I will take some people out with my thumbs to skull. Like, that shit's going to happen. And when you look at stuff today, they show us these guys in sometimes their 20s and 30s who are like walking dad bods, but they never did anything. They just grew into that. Like, they didn't their best years, you're seeing them. Like, that's all they were. And kids are being shown that they can do these amazing things. That's in addition to showing a woman bench, press, The Rock. you're seeing, guys. It's like, what the hell are you doing in this? Don't you want to go to the gym if you're going to take out 50 guys? Don't you feel a little embarrassed? You know what I mean? That you're fucking hell.
Yeah. As a kid, being a being a black kid, most of the action stars.
Wait, you're black?
Well, I was going to say that for the end.
Dude, this would have been the best twist if you had said, well, as a kid, as a white kid, and I'd be like, fucking Jericho.
What? Watch this, guys. Boom, gotcha.
Ponytail comes flying out.
the end of Scooby-Doo. Oh, man, Johnson.
Ponytail flies out, credit score goes up.
No, you fucking hell.
Like the gauge at the gas station is fucking 600, 700, 800.
So you were saying as a kid when you were coming up. Go ahead.
Yes. I didn't even think about that. I just saw an awesome action star. I just saw Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying 3/4 of a tree back to the house.
Right.
All I saw was Stallone grabbing that microphone and saying, "Murdoch, I'm coming to get you." It was never, I don't look like him. It was just, that's who I wanted to be. And even when, let's say, Carl Weathers came along in Action Jackson, I didn't look at it as, that's a black star. It was just another fucking awesome action movie with a dude with muscles who was a good dude. But when it came to the bad guys, he was about to fuck them up with with extreme prejudice. So that shit, the way they intertwine that in everything now, and race, everything's about race. It just wasn't a thing. I just saw an action star, a Hulk Hogan or something that I wanted to be like, because he was fucking badass. That's it.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. I want to get into race a little bit since you said that. It's very funny. Let me read this though. From the great Jared Weaver, Gabe, the South is no shoes, no shirt, no problem. Okay, that explains shirtless man. I don't know if you saw the scuttlebutt this week, Mr. Jericho. I know Sean, if you saw it, but DC Comics, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, put out some stupid ass covers for comic books with the Green Lantern there with a bag of tamales. Hot girl who's now Hispanic and not Egyptian, like whatever. And she's, I don't know what she's got there, probably burritos. You got Blue Beetle eating some tacos or burritos. You had some, and look at who's bashing them now. NPR, liberal rag, is bashing DC. CNN here is bashing them. Yeah, she's got some frijoles y papas y tacos.
What the fuck?
And you got Renee Montoya surrounded by frutas, right? She's got a bunch of fruits. Soy mexicano. Hablo poquito español como un güero tonto. I can speak a little Spanish, but not too much. My wife is teaching
me. ¿Cómo se dice fire everybody?
¿Cómo se dice pink slip? What's
right? But it's just like, you got to be shitting me with this stuff. And again, since we're not cancel culture leftist weirdos, we're probably more conservative. Even if some of you are out there left wing, if you're Comicsgate, you're not a cancel culture person, so you're fine with me, whatever. But so I don't react to this like, oh my gosh, it's so racist. What will I do? I do laugh at it because it's completely insane and stupid. But I have to find you a little something yesterday because it reminded me. I tweeted it out. I'm going through my Twitter right now. I only tweeted it yesterday. I should be able to find it quick. But I love this so much, this thing they did, that it made me post. I'm sorry, guys. I should have had this ready. I remembered something. Oh, here it is. Here's a little graphic I made last night and posted this. Yo quiero tamales de la linterna verde. He wants the Green Lantern. And Jim Lee is writing there. This is from 2018. Border Town was a comic book like Stranger Things with young Mexican kids who lived, and they were here in Texas illegally, and the white man's the devil. It was very racist. The book failed. But you could order a special edition of Border Town con chips y salsa. Ay, ay, ay! Like, what the fuck are we doing?
My God.
So I guess they didn't learn. Now the Green Lantern, the linterna verde has tamales. And and then Joe Biden says Texas Hispanics are as unique as breakfast tacos. So I like it. It's this is very entertaining stuff,
dude.
Very good.
These people have set back society a decade or 5. To be honest, like, we were past this shit in the 80s and 90s, comparatively speaking, by a million miles. But when I think about this, and it's almost like the revisionist history is just exhausting, especially because you were there, but it's I remember going to see Blade. I remember when Wesley Snipes was like the action star for me. Passenger 57, Rising Sun with Sean Connery. He had the acting chops. He did great martial arts on screen. It's like guys like Bruce Lee. It's not just martial arts. It's on screen. Brandon Lee was the same way. And to see people act like that movie didn't happen, to see people act like, you know, it's like the Daywalker, like he created a hype around a property that only hardcore comic fans knew, you know, when Gene Colan introduced him in Tomb of Dracula. But it's you just sit here and you think to yourself, like, what world are they living in? You know, like what it's like, I guess we're realizing how they didn't get out much. Maybe get offline and go outside, talk to some people. I don't know.
I don't understand, because when I look at Dalton, where we got to find a nice picture of Dalton. When I look at Dalton, Swayze, I don't know what kind of name Swayze is, but it isn't Mexican or Arab like mine.
For sure.
I can imagine myself as Dalton. I don't fucking care that he's white. I've told people many times, I wanted to be Han Solo when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford couldn't be more British of a name. Like, that name comes with free Earl Grey tea. That is a British fucking name, dude.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be him. And I don't look like, I'm very handsome in a different way, but I, you know, just like him. But I wanted to be him. I don't need to. It's so bizarre, this identity politics shit. But I don't ever want them to quit. I love the bag of tamales here, and I love that they retracted this and they tried to do a fake out. And I feel bad for the artist, because they didn't have the balls to apologize. DC Comics. They had the temerity to have the illustrator of that, since it's digital, he redid it, took away the tamales, and he has the Green Lantern holding up his power ring, and the flag changes to a Mexican ring. I'll find that in a minute. But they have the temerity to make him make the statement on that, instead of Jim Lee or anyone over there having any actual balls and apologizing for this nonsense. But I wonder if those chips and salsa were actually any good. I doubt it.
But I don't, you know, I'm not familiar with your guys' world, but I imagine that there are steps to this. You don't just make something like this and put it out. It goes across somebody's desk. There are multiple eyes that are on these projects before they get out in the general public.
Yeah.
What are they trying to achieve? Because they shouldn't even be here. Why are you doing this? This is totally unnecessary. Stick to the script. Just do superhero shit. What is this?
Yeah. So it's like watching a wingless plane roll off the assembly line, and you're like, where the fuck were the parents?
What is the point of this? Who is going to look at that and be like, man, that really hits me in my corazón? Like, what the fuck is this?
See, as a half Latino, I am half offended by this. Yeah. So I haven't had a good tamale since my grandmother died, by the way. They had a Mexican restaurant for 50 years. That's not true. I've had some since, but they're very hard to find good tamales. What? Anyway,
I'm waiting for them to have...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, the picture on the left, the illustrator, who's a great illustrator and a nice guy, they had him do the one on the right, and then he comes out and say, oh, no, that was just like a mock-up for whatever. It's not the real cover. When they advertised it, it had the logo and the price and the month. It was the real cover. And, you know, maybe... I don't know. Maybe they'll stop this stuff. I hope they never do, because it makes me and Shanth money. Yeah. It makes Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver. Yeah. It makes us money when they keep making. I don't want my competition to be good. If I'm an NFL player, I want the other team's quarterback out this week with the busted leg. He can play next week when I'm not playing him. Like, DC, never stop this, please. I want them. Now, this is going to be real woo for Black History Month. I want to see some food. I want to see some food on those covers.
Yeah, I want to see.
Let's see you guys have the balls to do that.
I want to see one hand on his crotch, and then I want to see him holding up a platter of fried chicken and watermelon. And I want his hair half braided, half afro, and I want the thought bubble to be, oh shit. That's what I want it to be. Like, if you guys are gonna jump into the pool of stupid shit, then you better jump all the way down to the bottom. I want to. Why not? Why would you do this to Mexican people, but not somebody else?
And now all I'm thinking about is how I could use some chicken. Thank you, Jericho. That was I'm like, sir, I like everything was a blur, and then I heard and chicken, and I went, fucking hell, I gotta get out of here. What's open at this hour? Nothing in Rhode Island. Damn it.
As I've said many times, I drove to Florida from San Diego last year because all the flights were being canceled. And I got to go through Texas and eat at Bucky's Truck Stops are the greatest thing in the world. I won't explain. Google it yourself. Bucky's Truck Stops. Oh my gosh, I could live there for a while. I'd never heard of a breakfast taco, let alone eaten one. Amazing. And I'm Mexican. I never heard of it. It must be a Texas thing.
Best chicken in Chattanooga. People would be lined up. Was at this gas station where they had their chicken they made there. They had amazing cook in that kitchen. People would line up to get this stuff. And I mean, I've never ever had food that good up here. With all due respect, it's you go to the dives and you go to the places where you only know about them if you're in town, and man, that food will just swallow your soul, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I was in Dallas last weekend, and it was.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, that's right.
Bartley's or Bailey's barbecue, some kind of B name, but it was you get a tray. Yeah, and the guy gives you the meat, and you go down and get the sides and mac and cheese, the fried okra, and all that kind of stuff. It was a real country spot, sweet tea. Man, it was awesome, man. I could see how I'd be around $5.50 if I lived there. So good thing I don't.
Honest to God, man, none of that food is good for you, but it's so good. It's just horrendous.
Guys, the asshole celebrities, they say it's flyover country in the middle of the country and the redneck South, and I fell in love with the South driving there. I've talked about it so much because I sincerely loved it. No bullshit, not fronting. I loved it. I'd been to Texas, but I'd never been to Louisiana, and I've wanted to go to New Orleans forever. Never been to Alabama, never been to Mississippi. And I told you this, Sean, but we always have to go on a sidetrack into food on this show.
We have to.
A real Louisiana boudin ball. If you have not eaten one, you are missing out. You take jambalaya, you put it in the ball, you put it in chicken fried steak breading, and you fry that. It's like the world's most delicious softball. It's so good.
Oh,
and they have pork cracklings everywhere. I don't even know if this is legal, but I stopped at a place in Louisiana. They had chicken cracklings. You talking about a bag? Hold on, motherfuckers. You have a bag of fried chicken skin with a spicy, that's it. There's a hot pepper thing on it, just like flakes. And that's it. It's just a bag. And it's
when I die, I want to be embalmed in it.
Shove that into my corpse's
There's
mouth.
so much grease. As we drive, we're snacking on these things, but you got to cut it. It's too much. You got to take a big drink. As we're driving for a few hours, the bag is turning clear because there's so much grease leaking out of the chicken into the bag. It was, oh my gosh.
But you got to soak that up with some funnel cake.
Waste that grease. There's a place in New York City where they do deep fried turkeys all year round, and you can just get the deep fried turkey skin by the pound.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I've got a plane to catch.
But if you have an air fryer, you get chicken thighs or something, peel the skin off of that, season it, and put it in your air fryer. Same thing. I've done that before. Delicious. And the food isn't good for your body, but it's good for your soul.
Right.
There's gonna be a knock on both of y'all's doors. Me going, hey guys, what's for dinner?
Real quick, if you're enjoying this, if you love 80s action, if you love guys goofing off and telling you the truth about how much fun we have as how they encourage us to be men, to be brave, to roundhouse kick evil legally in self-defense if we ever needed to. Please subscribe, hit the like and all that. And JCM, does Jericho have a channel? Boy, does he. He's got over 300,000 subs. John, if you wouldn't mind, put his link in the chat. Everyone sub to Jericho. Everyone sub to Shanthan Jetty. He's got a great channel. He'll do live painting. He's very funny. And obviously make sure you're subbed here because fucking YouTube likes to unsub people. And also in the chat, in the description, there are links to my comic and Jericho's comic. Please check and Sean's comic. I'm sorry.
I so want to get Jericho. I'm putting up a fake
here's an announcement.
Jericho's comic. Make payments.
Hey, don't read my comic because I can't draw for shit. Stick with these guys right here.
Yeah, but no, Shanth has a great one, a pulp adventure with vampires and all kinds of crazy crap. And I have an awesome superhero one. And guys, looky here real quick. It's coming, guys. Beef Law, it's coming. This is a 1994 action movie. Max Volkov is the champion of the Hong Kong Kickboxing League when his father runs afoul of the Chinese and Russian mafia who are in league with corrupt British government officials. He's forced to fight against his will in the deadly illegal kumite. Will he survive the tournament long enough to save his family? Well, he better, because if he doesn't expose the criminals, it won't just be his family that suffers, but the fragile peace between Britain and China could explode into a world war. Beef Law coming 2023. I am so fucking excited about this book, guys. Everything I've done as a kid, watching these movies, as a comic book artist, all this stuff. And I'm really drawing. I'm not doing that digital shit. I don't like drawing digital. Sorry to those of you that do. But I'm actually drawing this real pencil, real paper, real ink. I'm having a ton of fun here. That's Max Volkov, our hero of Beef Law. So please be ready for that. I'll have a sign up for that soon, but I don't know when exactly. So we got to get Truth, Justice, American Way out the door first. So
I'm just constantly, every time you guys show something you drew, I'm just like amazed, man. That shit is awesome. And
thank you.
Nosfero in the beginning, when you talk about when Nosfero clips comes into the intro, that werewolf howl,
right?
That always jumps out for me, man. That werewolf howl is some of the scariest shit ever.
Love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. And I'll tell you though, the best thing I've made in my career, it will be the thing I'm known for, is that Photoshop piece of you with the ponytail. Everybody knows it. That's going to be the piece that artist Jonathan Jetty died today, creator of, and people are going to put that up and people will cry. They're like, is that, like, we've lost that? Look at that, guys. I defy anybody. If you don't get that jacket, Jericho,
I need to find that shit.
We have to find it. You got to get that sword. We need a replica of that sword.
So look at the Widow's Peak. The Widow's Peak, everything, man.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
I like this. He's instead of Beef Law, the name, he's got a Southern black man saying it. Beef Law. And Dead Punk Gage, we will do Stone Cold. That has probably the best 15 seconds of 90s action in it, when the motorcycle drives out the window, hits the helicopter, blows up the helicopter falls and lands on what I think or want to be a Buick and blows that up. One of the greatest moments of cinematic history.
Buick again. Buick. We got to look at these action movies. Is there big Buick money behind these movies? And Lance Henriksen,
maybe
one of the best films, just his voice.
Yes.
Right.
That dude he was such a good bad guy. Has he ever played a good guy in a movie? I don't even know.
So. He shouldn't. He better
only
not.
in Aliens, when he was the android and you were supposed to be, I don't know.
But even that was still,
Yeah. What
and
was
Hard Target?
He was Bishop, right?
Yeah, he was Bishop. Yeah.
Bishop the robot. All right. We should probably move the story along here. So,
Roadhouse. That's right.
Roadhouse.
That's right.
So Dalton, he has his first night on the job. Then he goes to Old Man Johnson. I don't know this guy's name. I've seen this movie once. And he rents a loft from him, which, knowing people that live out in the country, my dad lives out in the country, the loft at this place is really nice. Like, it's really clean and squared away. And I don't imagine that's what it looked like in real life. But anyway, and you find out right away that rich bastard, this guy, Wesley, he has the huge property right across the lake or the river from the old man where Swayze's going to sleep. And he flies a helicopter in and out of his compound. And he flies it low and around the old man's farm on purpose to like scare his horses and stuff.
Yeah.
Who the hell does stuff like this? It's totally bizarre.
Dick, man. He's a dick on all levels. But like you said, Gabe, that loft was like a 2,000 square foot loft, and he ends up charging him $100. But he says he doesn't want to run afoul of the Presbyterians or some shit.
Right.
So he's going to charge him $100 a month, and he's making $500 a day on top of 5,000.
Right.
And he drives the Riv out there because he drives to Jasper in his nice brand new Mercedes Benz, like an S500 or something. But he shows he can get down and dirty with the locals. That's when he buys a 65 Riv, throws a couple spare tires in the trunk, which he needs later.
Well, that was the thing though. He knew that was going to happen. That was what was so beautiful about it. That he's done this job so many times, and he got the new spare tires to replace everything on the car because he knew that was going to happen.
I never noticed that as a kid. I just thought he was throwing some tires in the trunk. But you see that now and know that he knew what was going to happen. He knew they were going to hate, and that's also why he got the 65 Rio, because he wasn't going to park that brand new S500 in the parking lot. Dalton was a smart guy.
Yeah, you do see that forethought he has, because it's like, I think what that's showing you, it's a little foreshadowing, showing you he's done this before, and when he's a bouncer in these places, they don't like him, and they come and fuck with his car, flatten his tires, break the window, all that stuff. So he's prepared. So that really, again, for masculine traits that you want, it's like, okay, he's smart and he does what he needs to do. And like, as a young man, as a teenager, you're not a man yet, and you're aspiring to be one. And the way you're going to learn is watching and then doing, watching apprenticeship.
Yep.
It's one of the oldest concepts we have. I think that's where, I don't want to go on a jag about college, but that's where college gets it wrong. College is all epistemological knowledge and no technical, practical, hands-on knowledge. So college, they tell you all the shit. Great. That doesn't matter if you don't do it. And in the old days, it was apprenticeship. I heard Mark Garagos, the famous celebrity lawyer, he's friends with Adam Carolla. I heard him telling Adam Carolla on the radio show one time or podcast, up until like the 60s or the 70s, you could get your law degree without going to law school if you apprenticed in a certain way and met some requirements with a law office for a year and a half. Like, I didn't know that, and I don't know how true that is, or maybe I misunderstood what I heard, but he was saying you didn't have to do the traditional thing. I could have the details wrong there, but basically you could apprentice to become a lawyer, I think, if you had your bachelor's. I could be wrong about that, but I heard it, and I was like, what? So I think we got to bring back hands-on. You know,
I'm not trying to get like, you know, I'm not trying to get in your face about this, but you got to stay in your lane. College is bullshit. As a former college professor, you're sitting there teaching now, and I'm interrupting. Do you people understand what a sad man I am? I am right now taking a break. Like, this is, I don't know, quality control. I may have to go. You know, I don't know. I'm on the Domino's website trying to get some chicken sent to me fast. And that's the world I'm in right now. The wheels
I might
are
have
off
to
the
go.
wagon.
I might have to go, guys. You know, when I
got a plane to catch
to Louisiana. When I worked at the radio station, I started off as an intern. And you just come in and you get the shit jobs. You set up, you're there early, you're putting up the banners, setting up the table, standing on your feet for the whole event, blah, blah, blah. You watch the talent just show up in the 11th hour, talk some shit, take some pictures, get the autographs, and they're out. And there were people who would pay thousands of dollars to take these courses in school, communications and stuff like that. And I was fortunate enough to just do it. And you're better for it. Those people, like he said, it's just you learn the textbook end of it and what the books say and what your teacher's telling you, your professor's telling you. But to get that real world experience, man, there's nothing like it. And that makes sense. Why wouldn't you want that real world experience over the textbook experience? Because that's only going to tell you so much. You don't know what it's like to sit across the desk from a man who's about to lose his kids to his bitch wife or whatever kind of law you go into. So getting out there and getting on ground level and seeing how it really happens. And yeah, the textbook says this, but are you going to tell that to somebody? You know, how are you going to make somebody understand that? You know, because it's what your textbook told you. No, it doesn't always play out like that in real life. But I definitely internships, trade schools. I'm going to try to nudge my kids toward a trade school because you're making good money and you're making it faster and you're not in fucking debt.
That's right.
And you don't have some weird salt and pepper ponytail Hawaiian shirt Subaru station wagon driving weirdo trying to tell you about how your parents are fucked up because they wanted you to have structure in your life. So definitely go hands on.
Absolutely. And since people have recommended books to me on this channel, I'm going to give you guys all some homework in the chat. If you can get your hands on these books that I've thrown up on the screen, the Inserto is the name of this collection. It's by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. These are some of the greatest books on how to think logically that I've ever read in my life. The Bed of Procrustes, The Black Swan, and Anti-Fragile. These are amazing books. And the other book I will recommend to all of you that will be life-changing, because whether you know it or not, and I'm not joking here anymore. This is very serious what I'm about to tell you. I heard someone, we live in a matriarchy. I'll just put it that way. I was going to tell a long story. We live in a matriarchy. We do not live in a patriarchy. We live in a world where female thought and the female way of life has primacy. And it's been that way for nearly 60 years. You don't know it like fish don't know they're in water. You're floating in a soup of being a man is evil, being a man is wrong. And it's all bullshit. Of course, being a man is very good and vital and important. This book is one of the greatest books I've ever read in my life. The Bible's the greatest book I've ever read in my life. But no book besides this book right here changed my life more than this. You find out all kinds of stupid, invisible bullshit that we've all been taught about being a man that's completely backwards. I've been over this book. I just finished it again today. I listened to it. I have the audio book because I'm drawing. I've listened to this book 6-7 times. It's only 6 hours long. This will change your life. Every single one of you out there. It is it's the book that changed my life the most, besides the Bible. This book is required reading. It will change your fucking life. I'm not kidding. It will undo so many of the lies about being a nice guy, people pleasing, validation seeking, all the stuff that mothers and a female culture taught you. This book has the answers for it on what you should do. So please read that. And if you get your hands on the Inserto, read that. End of rant. Sorry.
And it's funny how we can take part in things like that, like this matriarchy, only because it was built up and they were given this platform by the patriarchy. Like communism. You can only entertain that bullshit if you're a product of capitalism, because you have to amass the capital to finance these pipe dreams.
Right.
So yeah, of course, people are going to push the matriarchy because the patriarchy made it possible. These toxic men, and I don't need him, and you're too aggressive. They gave you the ability to espouse this horse shit.
Right. You can make these shitty comic books that are pandering to Mexicans because real men and real women built the real DC Comics and the real Green Lantern, so you could do this stupid, racist, ignorant shit.
Yeah.
You stand on their success and then spread your stupid ass message. So you're totally right, Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, you're as I often say, that what people need to be told and understand is that your rights are only as secure as the men are strong enough to keep those rights happening everywhere. If people think that if many countries that have a lot of power and a lot of people were ever to get an advantage and roll up on here, if they think it would be business as usual the next day, they're out of their minds. And it's something everybody should understand. Everybody should wake up with that in the morning.
And here's the thing. When you're anti-feminist, they think you hate women. No, I'm anti-feminism because I love women.
Yeah.
They are my equal. They're very different. They're not equal at the things I'm good at, and I'm not good at the things they're good at. They're absolutely my equal. They're the yin to my yang. Of course, that's God's design. But to say we are the same is foolishness and evil. It's not just foolish, it's evil. And it ruins everybody's life when we try to live that way. So guys, you got to fight it. You got to fight that. And I'm telling you, I don't get a penny from it. Dr. Robert Glover is not my uncle. I'm not getting a royalty on this. This book changed my life more than any other book I've ever read besides the Bible. Okay? He was a nice guy, Dr. Robert Glover, a loser in business, with women, with everything. And 30 years of counseling men that were nice guy, pushover, okay. He recognized this pattern of what the last 56 years of matriarchy had done to men. You got to get it. It's an amazing book.
Yeah, nice guys finish last, but nice girls finish first.
That's right.
But that shit, I can't understand that. Like, how dare you? I had this angry little non-binary troll that I used to work with, and she said,
I just see one of those little troll dolls.
That's all. Yeah.
No, she wasn't that cool or that cute. But she said, well, men should just be used. We don't even need men. Men should only be used as sperm donors. And more than anything else, I said this just to piss her off. But I said, well, who's going to open all the pickle jars and kill all the spiders?
Dear God.
Get out of here. Don't act like women can do everything a man can do and we're just here just because we happen to be here. Because we play a part. We create this nice, safe world with all these lights and security and men with guns to protect you. We created this. So be thankful and enjoy it. Don't try to tear it down.
And by the way, we made it because we love you.
Yep.
Damn it. Why would we do you know how hard it is to do all this shit? To go to the bottom of the earth and dig up coal.
Yeah, but
shake hands with the devil.
To go, that's what Bill Burr said that one, to shake hands with the devil.
Yeah, listen.
Like you can do that. What? Oh, you know it'd be fun. It'd be really fun to go hundreds of feet underground. It's like 120 degrees. There could be a fucking cave in. You could die. You could suffocate from carbon monoxide. It'd be fun to go get little greasy black rocks from down there for no reason at all. Be really fun. Let's go.
And these men that want to buy women lobster tails and stuff on Valentine's Day, let's get a boat together and go out to one of the most violent oceans, the Bering Sea. Let's go out there and get slapped around by the ocean and put cages down there and get lobsters and crabs and stuff. That sounds really good. It sounds good for a wave to come over the side and wash me out to sea, and I get to freeze to death before I die.
Right. Yeah. But, hold on. Hunch the Dirty Roofer for $5. Gabe, I thought Book Recommends was my lane. Hey man, I got something good to share. I want to share it. For understanding foreign policy, John Mearsheimer's The Great Delusion, a must read, especially currently. Thank you. I've made a note of that. And others out there, check it out too. Hunch will not do you wrong. He's a smart guy with great recommendations. So we are falling behind on this movie though, boys.
We have the
Roadhouse.
We have the first out of the bar. He fires this guy.
Fires everybody.
Yeah, he fires one of the waitresses, drug dealer.
Yep.
And then I guess he starts his first shift at the bar. He tells the crew that's still there, the bouncers, you follow my lead. You don't get in fights inside the bar. You always be nice to these people even if they're out of control. Always take it outside if you got to kick some booty.
And the line is, be nice. And they said, and he goes, until it's time to not be nice. And he goes, how do we know? And he goes, I'll tell you. One of the great lines, man.
Look at this. Man. All Gold Productions' life is about to change. Right. I'm going to warn you, All Gold, and every one of you out there, if you've been a nice guy, and here's how you become a nice guy, your father neglects you, or he hates you, or he abuses you. And what that does is you don't get validated. So then the rest of your life, you try to get validated from other people, passive aggressively, covertly. Don't take any shame in it. It's what happens when you have a single mother, and then no dad or a mean or abusive dad. But this is the disconnect between boys and fathers. If your father doesn't pat your shoulder and say, good job, son, and take you for the ice cream after the ball game, not spoil you, not indulge you, not tell you perfect. If your father doesn't spank you and tell you, hey, we have standards, that's also love. If your father doesn't do any of that, you can easily turn into a nice guy who's like a little secret manipulative people pleaser. And I'll tell you, this book hurts. It's like getting dental work without Novocaine. You hear some of the shit he says, not all of it will apply to you, but some of it you'll go, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, I can't believe I was doing that. I can't believe I put up with that. I can't believe I didn't have boundaries. I can't believe I let them treat me rudely like this because I was worried what they would say. Like, it's going to change your life, but it's going to hurt. But anything worth doing is difficult.
Yeah, true that. And, in life, once you're on this road, this highway of life, the exit where you were supposed to get acceptance and patted on the back by your dad, we can't go back there. It's too late.
Right.
By the time you're out here with the grown-ups, it's too late. Right. I can never even begin to fill that void.
Right. And I'll tell you guys one more thing, and I swear we'll get to this movie. My parents divorced like a week after my 8th birthday. I never really saw my dad even before that. He was like a workaholic, and I didn't see him at all growing up. Never came. I lived in California, lived in Colorado. So I have all that abandoned man who's going to approve of me. And my attitude, and Sean, you know this from our deep talks after the show, my attitude my whole life was a real shitty one of fuck you all, I'll do it myself. Because I had internalized all this shame about what I was and who I was, and that no one could ever love me or want to help me. So fuck you all, I'll do it myself. And Sean has been a huge part of undoing that in my life. God sent him to me. Watch, let me show you guys something. This is hilarious.
Right.
we were talking about this one night, and I was telling Sean this story about, wanting this stupid thing in my life. And I never got it because I didn't have money and this and that. And it's this dumb thing right here. This is a Blur Transformer action figure from 1986. And I've wanted it forever. I've looked at it at hobby shops for like 20-something years, but I wouldn't allow myself to have it because it's one of the things I wanted most. And when you're never validated, when you're literally like, well, I don't deserve that. I just deserve to work hard. And what did it take you, Sean? Like an hour and a half after the show one night, talking to me, going on eBay. I'm making up bullshit. Like, I don't remember my password. And like,
that was, man.
It was like traumatic to buy it. And when I bought it, like so many things changed, so many things in my mind. I don't like toys. I don't play with them. But it was so symbolic to be like, no, it's okay for me to have what I want openly.
It's bigger than that, though. You're so right, man. But this is a bigger thing than that. I remember when I came to that realization at a certain point, and anybody who didn't have a dad who was around and present, well, it is what it is. It happens. But at a certain point, doing something like that is about coming to the realization everybody's got to come to, which is no matter what else you had going on in your life, if you were there by yourself, you were the man in your life. So when you were 7, a 7-year-old man did the best he could to raise you. It wasn't going to be perfect, but he did the best. And if you're alive and you're on your feet and you're not dead in a ditch somewhere, you have to acknowledge that. And it's about going back to those stupid moments we carry with ourselves and saying, I'm the guy that's going to take care of that kid like both of us have taken care of our kids. You know what I mean? It's like we've already raised our own. And if you don't bury that shit, it leaves you in this permanent state of looking back and being the victim. And what you're doing is you're buying that shit for yourself as a kid. And people get into, like, it's kind of funny because you'll see people buy stuff that's like 80 times more expensive than some of this junk. But it's the kind of stuff where if you didn't have those moments with your dad, make those moments with your son.
Right.
Make those moments with your kids. Like, don't miss the second opportunity. That's it.
Right. Yeah, and you told me that. And, you know, one thing that's great to understand about it all is you have to, the way your brain interprets it as a child is your parents neglected you because you're ugly. You should be ashamed. You're not valid. There's something fundamentally wrong with you. That's why you were neglected. And that's a lie, but it's all a little 6-year-old can understand about life. Because when you're little, you're ethnocentric. So you don't understand the world. You think everything happens because of you. You know what I mean? So you think, oh, if people see who I really am, or I tell somebody I want this, then they're going to reject me again, just like my parents did. So then you live this secret life where you're passive aggressively trying to get what you want. But you're right, Sean. The way to do it is to tell yourself, my parents made the choices they made for whatever reason they did. I love them. I don't hate them. People are imperfect. I'm not going to hold grudges. But for one damn thing, sure, it wasn't my fault. I was just a little kid. And I know this is applying to a lot of you out there watching because we have rampant divorce for 50 years now in our culture. Many of you out there, you don't know your dad. You didn't see him very much, and it was terrible. But you know what? I have the father-son relationship of all time now. Right there, the guy in the front with my smile. Same one. That is my son, Peter. He's an excellent young man. He's like a mover and shaker, making tons of money now in this business. That's us at the UFC fight in Vegas like a month and a half ago. We're going again very soon, and we're like best buddies now. He's a grown man. We talk about girls now. We talk about money, and it's like it's so cool. And I've been in his life the whole time. Never missed a football game from age 5 to age 17 when he quit playing. So I got my father-son relationship. It's just I was the father. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So thank God.
I have to ask this question, Gabe, and I hate to ask this on such a serious note, but is that an opal necklace she's wearing? Can you zoom in? I'm trying to. Let me see. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, you know, kind of looks like an opal. What do you think?
I think so.
I just noticed she has freckles.
Yeah, you know what? You might want to get some of those checked out. There's a guy at the start of the movie who does free exams. All right, let's.
Very in depth. Very
in depth
tissue exams.
All right, well, we went a little deep there, but I thought it was a very important subject, and I've been reading that book again. So, keep on zooming. Yeah, you're right, brother. Keep on zooming. Where the hell are we in the story? He's like doing his first night at the bar, right?
He cleans house.
Right.
He kicks everybody out. He's got he's got his spare tires in the car because he knows what's coming.
Yep.
Everybody is pissed. That gets fired for obvious reasons. The manager of the bar, he says, I can get this done if you give me free reign to do what I need to do. That's right. And they slash all the tires of his car and everything after his first night. He's dealing things. He's just trying to get, like, these folks have no concept of what he's saying. And the longer the evening goes on, he still deals with some bullshit. He's still got to get rid of some people.
Like he gets rid of this guy. Yeah.
Yep.
But
there you go.
See, it looks like this guy's just shoving some money in his pocket and he's skimming off the top. But this is the beginning of his relationship with Mr. Wesley because that's his nephew. This guy, I rewound this part twice because it was so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He tells the guys, hey, because the girl gets up on the table, she's dancing around, hey, get him off of there, right? He goes over there, sends him over there. Guy says, hey, can you get down? The guy goes, yeah, fuck you, get out of here. Hey, man, can you please? Then he punches in, pulls out a switchblade. He's going to cut the dude. Dalton comes over, catches his hand, and then takes him by the back of his hair and snaps a table in half with his face. Now just think, a round table, a standard round table in a bar, the force it takes not to break it and make it fall off completely. No, just to snap it in half. So he came down with enough force to break that solid piece of wood in half with this dude's face. That shit was amazing, man.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
So on his first night on the job, the first night he was kind of watching, getting the lay of land. Now he's really on the job being the cooler.
He's cooler.
He does catch, remember Wesley, he's the rich guy that's getting 10% of money from everyone in town. This is nephew here, and he's skimming money. Obviously, we got Switchblade Boy, gets his face busted, and he confronts him at the end of the night. And I think Barrett X said this guy is let's see, is John Doe from the seminal LA punk band X. Oh wow, that goes way back to the 80s.
Wow.
X. Holy cow.
So there were some musical heavy hitters in this movie.
Right. You had Healy, and then you have this guy. Wow, crazy. But yeah, so at the end of the night, he finds out they've effed up his car. That's his hand reaching for the antenna. Remember antennas, kids? Cars used to have them.
Yeah,
and
stuff.
Yeah, so they don't like what he was done, firing the bartender, yelling at the people doing stuff, beating up the guys that want to fight. So they mess up his car. That's why he bought the extra tires.
Yep.
And then we have a party. We have a party over at Wesley's house. This guy is such a weird looking dude. This 7-foot guy. He's like Herman Munster, you know, like, that whole thing. Like
this scene
holy God.
has one of the weirdest fucking lines ever.
Yeah.
Please.
What he's saying to that girl in this scene is, I wrote it down. I love this guy. Isn't he cute? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, if you just said, I love this guy.
Right.
But isn't he cute? And especially this is one of his cronies. It's not like a fellow businessman or something. This is one of his henchmen. And he said, I love this guy. Isn't he cute? Oh, that's so weird. Makes you wonder what happened at the after party.
Right.
Maybe he
That is right.
Buick. Maybe he got Buick.
Yeah.
He got Buick.
You don't want to get Buick.
Yeah.
You just don't.
But he's like a big goofy dude. They have a pool party. The girls are getting topless. I don't remember if anything that moves the plot forward happens there, or they're just showing them be debauched. Does anything that moves?
Not really, because Dalton's in his spacious loft across the lake, and he's reading a book, you know, some kind of philosophy book or something. Then he just turns the light off and just stares at them across the lake having their debauchery.
Looks at Lurch.
And
Lurch just staring back at him, man.
And we know Dalton likes to sleep au natural.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the Jolie Led arrives in the morning to bring him coffee and like an egg McMuffin or something, he is, my daughter didn't get a picture of. He jumps out of bed and you get the real tight shot of his muscular buttocks. And he does something that bothers me so much. When I see guys with no-show socks, it looks so gross to me. When I see guys that don't have socks, that just disgusts me. If you're wearing shoes and no socks, I want to just like, you're gross.
You have to stop.
You're gross.
He puts on his blue jeans with no underwear.
Yeah, man. You can't just there's not even the cleanliness issue of it. Do you know how dangerous you're living
You're living very dangerous, man.
With your dick mere centimeters from a zipper?
I have to tell you guys, I'll keep it PG. I've done that once in my life.
Yeah,
it'll change your life.
You laid the tracks, right? Remember something about Mary? You laid the tracks. Now we just got to back it out.
I'll give you guys. I don't drink. August 14th is 5 years of me never having a drink.
Congratulations.
But I used to drink, and it wasn't good. It didn't work for my life. If you drink and you handle it, that's fine. I would drink because I was angry and stressed, and I didn't do really bad things or anything, but it was like I realized you're not drinking because you like how this tastes. I hate all alcohol. I hate the way all of it tastes. But I was with my friends at a bar, probably playing pool or whatever. We were drinking. I go pee, and I zip up, and I get some of it. But I had drank enough where the pain didn't really register. And I was looking at this unfortunate situation, looking down, and I was thinking, man, I bet that really hurts.
Shit.
I bet that guy's going to be hurting when he feels that.
What you got to do, a lot of people don't know this. If you do go without underwear, what you want to do is you want to slide in a protective sheet of sandpaper. What is wrong with these people?
But that is so dangerous, especially you're in a hurry. I've had that happen before too, and it's all bad, man. But you're very dangerous living, Mr. Dalton.
It hurts so bad, but it also so unbelievable that happened. It just shouldn't happen, something like that.
Now, when it happens when you're sober, like it was with me, I was in the Navy.
Oh my God!
I remember that day clearly. I remember where I was, and it's funny how that takes center stage. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter where you're going, who you were talking to, what your plans were. All that matters is getting your business out of the teeth of that YKK zipper. That's all that matters.
Oh my gosh!
They should do that instead of waterboarding terrorists.
No,
get their nuts caught in a zipper. They'll tell you everything you want to know.
Don't give them any ideas, for goodness sake.
Yeah, how'd you get the beans over the frames?
Right. Yeah, I never understood how that happened to anybody my whole life, and then it happened to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's how that happened."
Oh, yeah, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, the thing you've got to remember, guys, is that when you're ordering emergency chicken.
Oh man, please get into that.
This is where we are now. It's over.
Hey, that's a good place to be, man. That's a good place to be. Yeah, I mean, the classic 5-0.
What the hell is this scene? It's 30 seconds long. Wesley's driving down the road on both sides in a serpentine pattern in his, I think, what's a Ford Mustang. I don't know.
Yeah, 5-0.
Yeah, man, the Mustangs were ugly in the 80s. Holy shit, that's an ugly car.
Everything was, really.
Yeah, you had the thing like that Buick you showed, not an 80s car, but holy crap, this doesn't look sporty at all. But he's going across all lanes, and he almost hits Dalton head on, and then the scene is over. So I'm like,
yeah, he just looks back like,
yeah, he's like, whatever.
So it's just like a character moment.
Head-on collision, whatever.
I guess it's a character development moment to show you Wesley is a pig. This is his town of Jasper, and I'll drive on the wrong lane if I want to. It's like, well, it's your funeral, I guess, but
just the hubris, man. Just to be like, man, I'll drive dangerously. I'll take other people's lives into my hands. It doesn't matter. I'm Wesley. I can do whatever I want, and he does. He does, man.
Oh, Joseph Fazio says his brother has a pure white hardtop one, and it's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, if you get a hardtop Stang of that year, it's pretty nice. It is, especially all white. It's pretty beautiful. Right. But I liked it. It's definitely not the best year of the Mustang, but it was cool, especially if you're a sadistic.
I like the classic. Patron. I like your 64 fastback, things like that. I like that.
Yeah. Big fan.
So then he goes into like an auto parts store and he meets this guy named Red with a horrible dye job of red hair. Mm-hmm. I feel like they dyed his hair red because in the script it was written his name was Red, and this man clearly has gray hair.
Yeah, and they didn't even get the name brand. They got like the CVS brand and dyed that man's hair. That was a very unfortunate hair coloring, but there's a connection with this guy and the love of his life.
Right. So then he's in the auto parts store. Wesley and the guy I nicknamed. Oh, no, we called him Denim. That's right. He's got the
what the hell?
Look at it. Look at it. You can see it.
You can see the fire in his eyes right here. He's
that's the look he got when he was
smitten right off the bat. What is that symphony they play in the love song of two people running towards each other in a field?
Oh yeah. When he's about the Buick. About the Buick, girl.
He's definitely registered, and I don't mean as a lethal weapon.
I hope he is, man.
He has to introduce himself to all his neighbors when he comes to town.
With a plate of cookies and everything.
That's right. Oh, Lord, that guy.
Wow. That guy is something special. Was he the same guy in Tango and Cash who was kicking the shit out all the glass?
I don't know.
Because I think he was in that kind of played the same, martial arts, number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Kicking shit everywhere. And he had like those cowboy boots with the metal tips, the metal heel and the metal tip. I think so. I think that
this is a little I think this is a little foreshadowing for the end of the movie. Hold on. I gotta play a little music that goes with this. So Denim has just seen him for the first time, and this is what we're gonna hear. Here, where is it? Let's see. Come on. Here it is. Okay. So he comes in and he sees him.
Very whimsical. What is that song called? That's like one of those like public domain songs. You hear that in all kinds of shit.
So Denim just saw Swayze, and that's what went through. Said that is the Romeo and Juliet Fantasy Overture by Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
I have that written down in my computer because for 20 years I'm like, what's that love song? So I finally just wrote it down like 5-10 years ago. So I could always look it up because I could never remember the name of that. Romeo and Juliet Fantasy Overture. That's it. So yes, he sees Dalton, and you can see it in his eyes. Tchaikovsky is just ringing in his ears.
Oh
there.
yeah, you can see the little hearts,
Right.
popping all over his face, man. Damn,
Oh,
he's in love, man. Love at first sight.
right.
Right.
So then we
at
get
first sight.
a little Tai Chi going on out in the sunrise on the lake where he stays with old man Coogan or whatever I fucking nicknamed him. Oh, and then we have a confrontation. The shitheel bartender that was stealing money has come in with, I don't know, Scooter and this bald guy, and they're mad at the guy in the blue. He's the bar owner, and they're threatening him like, you can't fire me because my Uncle Wesley owns the town. Like, I work here whether you like it or not, and I supply the alcohol for your stupid bar. So then we get a great fight. They confront each other. Oh, wow, that's a good one there. Blasted him. But yeah, they fly through the window. They get into a huge fight, and that leads him to the hospital where he meets.
Wait, go back to when he's looking through the broken window with the shirt, the owner. Look at that sweat ring. That had to be filmed in the summer. These people are perspiring.
Right.
Yep.
Shit. And then a super hot
Dr. Muffins. Yep. She.
Why does he have his? And she even asked him, "Why do you carry your medical files with you?" That shit's weird. Maybe he did relocate from New York.
Yeah. Henry Bemmers brings up a great point. In the 80s were a dark age for bald men. Shaving your head wasn't cool yet. Yeah, dude, if you shaved your head in the 80s, people would think you were a mental patient.
Or yeah,
some kind of a neo-Nazi or something. You couldn't just shave your head. And I gotta say, this head of hair on Patrick Swayze, my goodness, that is some righteous. That is like a Martin Riggs level of hair. You know?
He takes 8x10 glossy headshots, and then his hair takes 8x10 glossy headshots. That hair is a whole separate entity.
Yeah,
that thing is beautiful, man.
His hair. A lot of people don't know this. His hair had its own trailer on the set.
He was in one trailer, and then his hair was like, "Oh, I can't take it. I'm going to my trailer." Him, Kurt Russell, Mel Gibson. It was something special. I wonder if they all had the same hairdresser who like mastered that style, but
or they passed a wig around like a party joint.
That's a good way to get lice.
So anyway, Dr. Muffins is fixing him up, and he doesn't take any anesthesia with the stitches. Show her that he is a true badass named Dalton, and no one knows if that's his first or last name. But what if? Now, I propose this, guys. This is controversial, but as I said earlier, I did wake up feeling dangerous. What if Dalton is both his first and last name?
Yeah,
it's entirely possible. Dalton.
Name's Dalton. Dalton.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and I think this is the part right where he says, my favorite quote we always used to say as kids. He goes, "Pain don't hurt."
Right.
You gotta love it, man.
Oh, that's the scene where he tells her that, right?
Yeah, she stapled him. What did she say? Like 9 staples she was going to give him. You just said that. He didn't flinch. He didn't jump. He was mid-conversation getting 9 staples in his rib cage. No problem.
Right. And she's like, doesn't the pain bother you or something pain? And he's like, oh, pain don't hurt.
I know. Pain don't hurt.
It's so stupid. It's brilliant,
Pain don't hurt.
It's just like that French thing where they're kind of ugly. It makes them cute. Same thing. It's so dumb.
Right.
Oh, Patrick.
This to me is 1986 or whatever year this came out.
89.
Okay, 80. This is quintessential 80s. Bigfoot is in the building. Man. I don't know why the bad guys have Bigfoot, this monster truck. Right. Other than it was the 80s. I guess that's a good enough answer. But I love it. I love that this is insane. That is one of the main things about Seagal and Van Damme and all this stuff is the exaggeration of reality makes it more believable. I don't know if that makes sense to you. A good example, I think, and I'm not trying to like compliment myself here, but let me show you something really quick because I do think it's a good, pertinent example. Is doing this, that foot and that shin bone would never be like that. You can't bend the bone in your shin like that. It makes no fucking sense. But what it does, that exaggerated reality, is it tells you that time and speed are happening. Like what it does is it moves the image by being so unreal that it becomes more real. You know what I mean? So I think having just Bigfoot is here. Like, okay, I'll just go with it. I think it's awesome, and I was not expecting it, and I totally love it.
But is there enough shit in that town to be run over to justify a Bigfoot?
Well,
or you guys just cruise around?
There was, but Bigfoot ran it all over.
But I mean, do these people just rebuild their businesses and buy new cars just to be ran over again next time Wesley gets upset. And what kind of car was that? Is that sitting in front of that? What was that? I was looking for a logo, emblem. What the hell is that?
It is
I
ugly.
think, with all due respect to Minnie, and I think she's done a great job with screen caps. I just found another screen cap online that just unlocked all of this stuff that we've been questioning in this film. Man, share this image. Did you see that? I missed this. Look down in the corner. I mean, this is we've sold the film.
I think
hair pie. That says a hair pie right there too. I love that.
I know it's glorious.
Love that too. Damn, that says Denim
guys.
and Dalton. See?
There it is. There's no way that was photoshopped.
Romeo and Juliet overture.
That's right. Never forget it.
Even back then they were making fun of the level of denim, you know it was bad.
That's right.
Holy shit, guys. Holy shit, guys. You know, wardrobe,
all right.
dude.
So they got their asses kicked by Dalton when they went to go enforce whatever at the bar, and now they have to talk to the boss, Wesley. And Denim is look at Denim.
Yeah,
his hair's pretty nice too, man. I'm not mad at Denim's hair.
He's a sexual barracuda, this man.
But,
what is that necklace? It's like a raptor claw. What is that shit?
You don't want Denim in that crew, man? Right? Because this is like Chris Farley and Swayze. Take a look at that.
Dude,
Denim just made everyone in that crew look 1,000 times worse.
Dude, yeah, and Wesley's about to come out and even right here, he's dispensing some justice. He said, "Who wants to apologize?" And apparently he picked this guy right here, and he didn't give him an apology.
That guy had a
throttles his own guy, humiliates him, beats the crap out of him, basically because they didn't beat up Dalton and the guy enough or whatever.
That's right.
So, and then he's like wearing a Jurassic Park hunting vest there, Wesley on the left.
Yeah.
He looks like, I don't know what his deal is.
You never know when another billionaire is going to call you for a safari. So you have to be ready.
You'll be provided with trackers and weapons.
I do love that. I'm going to just call him Skeeter, the guy in the suspenders there. If Skeeter looks at a French fry, those suspenders are going to explode off of his body.
And you don't want to be anywhere near it when it breaks under that kind of PSI.
Hell no.
Oh my God.
No way, man.
That blonde falls right out of that shirt.
and speaking of, safari jacket, in the end, he has quite the collection of taxidermy animals. I think he had all of them.
That'll tie into something very funny with Skeeter.
That was like a Noah's Ark of taxidermy animals. He had all of them.
Right. Absolutely.
I want to kill one of everything.
Of every damn thing.
We find Red in his shop. The bad guys have torn it to shreds because what's going on in town is Wesley is getting 10% from everybody, basically. He's mafioso. It'd be a shame if your window got broken or your building burned down. And
he's the boss hog of this town.
Right. And Red don't play that shit. Red doesn't want to pay. So they came into his store and they broke a bunch of crap and he's cleaning it up and he tells Swayze about it. And then we get this guy here.
Yeah.
There he is. A young, he's not young, but that's a young Sam Elliott right there.
It is.
Right.
That man.
Oh, he's got a better name. It's no longer Skeeter. In the 80s, that character was always called Tiny. He is now Tiny. Thank you.
Yeah, he was. I think he was also Cal on the Sanford and Son episodes back in the day. But something I wrote down a quote. It was, I believe it was the bartender who got a few scenes back, but he's the one who got fired and he's Wesley's nephew. And he pulls out a knife and squares off with Dalton and he calls him Chicken Dick. He says, "Come on, Chicken Dick." I just thought that shit jumped out to me because you don't hear Chicken Dick.
Oh, there's some weird phrases in this movie.
the extorting the business owners. So are they just showing us a small slice of Jasper? Is this how Wesley makes his money? Extorting the townspeople?
I think so.
It didn't look like a very big town.
Yeah.
Like, how are you getting your money, Wesley, to have all these?
Getting 10% from some diner that makes $42,000 a year selling turkey pot pie or something like.
How do you hire a bouncer for $500 a day when your bar makes negative $9,000 a month? I mean, what the hell is happening?
You can't get into the math of this, Sean. It'll drive you crazy.
That's right. You're right.
Don't try to crack the math.
They're funded by Nakatomi Plaza. Now, wait, hear me out.
Holy shit! I was just wondering, where is he making his money, or was he established before he got here? And this is just some pocket money that he's getting from these people, because I just didn't see the commerce in this town.
Yeah,
the chat is beautiful right now, though, man. You got to see those emoticons.
The crime.
No.
He said, "Come on, chicken dick."
The crime in this movie reminds me of Van Damme's very first role that besides Electric Boogaloo as a backup dancer. No Retreat, No Surrender. We will review that on this channel. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. Van Damme's barely in it. He's a big fight at the end.
Nice white suit, though.
Philadelphia Mafia has infiltrated Los Angeles to take over all of the teenage karate dojos.
Yeah.
And then the dad of one of the dojos runs away to Seattle because he's afraid of Van Damme beating him up. And then they've taken over all the California dojos. The Philadelphia Italian mob has taken over California karate dojos. I just want to make sure you heard that. And now they've moved up the Pacific Northwest to Seattle. So they must have already got through Oregon and all that. And I'll never forget, they get off the plane with the mafia boss, and he's got the coat on his shoulders and the pinky ring. And his henchman, who's already been on the ground in Seattle, he's talking to the Don Carlo or whoever came from Philly. He's all, a few more dojos, and Seattle will be yours. It's like, what? Why would the mafia want a
We'll have access to the most expensive property.
Like you never heard of dojo money? You know what the profit margin is with dojos?
I don't even understand what the hell that movie was about.
How did the Philadelphia Mafia get wind that there's money to be had in California with dojos?
Oh my god!
Holy shit, guys!
Oh my gosh! So Swayze calls his buddy, asks him what's for dinner. He tells him beef. It's what's for dinner.
What's for dinner?
That's who this is. This young guy here with the salt and pepper hair. This is Sam Elliott from Tombstone and other great movies.
Dude, Sam Elliott is a national treasure, man. Just the way he talks, that drawl. Look at the hair. Look at the hair on that guy. But
I gotta tell you, I'm jealous of these men's hair. I'll just say it. I want hair like this. I want hair like Swayze. I think Sam Elliott has better hair than Swayze.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll take Sam Elliott's hair. It just looks like more of a mane.
You guys are in luck.
Like it looks like he washes
Halloween.
He washes it twice a week, and it's just a fucking a mane.
Right.
But as much as we like the hair up there, what I don't like,
no,
down there.
Yeah, we get a little view of that later in the movie, which is unfortunate.
Guys, that was far too. That looked like a barbershop floor. All the hair. That shit was just off the charts.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so it looks like Sam Elliott works in a titty bar somewhere, and Swayze calls him up, and he's gonna come to town to help Swayze with Wesley, because this has now gotten out of hand.
Boom.
And then we cut to Jolie Led singing. I forget why, but we're back in the bar. And then that's right. Wesley and his girlfriend, a bunch of people are at the bar. And we have a very interesting scene here. She's basically asking Swayze to take her to bed. And I think
she says, "Want to go back?" She says, "Let's go back to my place and fuck."
Yeah, I think she's just crazy and wants to make Wesley mad because she's Wesley's girlfriend. I don't know. Maybe she does like Swayze too. Who knows? She's being freaky, and it causes a fight. You know what I mean?
And Denim grabs her and says, "Say goodnight, so and so," and then takes her outside. But the scene before that with Julie Lad,
yes.
Was that the worst lip syncing ever caught on film?
Holy God.
What do you guys think?
It was not good. It was not
horse shit. That was awful.
Not unlike her herself. It was so peculiar that it became endearing. So
no, I mean,
is that possible? Lip syncing?
Yeah.
That shit was horrible.
And John has it. Yeah, she walked up and she's like, "Hey baby, you want a Buick?" And he's like, "Excuse me?"
Sorry,
what thing?
Are you a car salesman or what?
Yeah.
And then I think, so the next scene when it shows the guys all lined, these dudes right here lined up, then he sends them, and here we go right here, and he says, "Right boot." Then wait, hold on. Not only does he have a blade on the end of his boot, but it has the little shine that goes across the blade in the movie, like they're outside in the sunlight.
Now, as an artist who's worked for big studios and makes a lot of art, I'll tell you right now, the artist that drew that in, because that was obviously cartooning when they did that shine, a special effect. The artist did not come up with that. Some untalented middle management editor said, "Yeah, but don't you think we should put a shine on the blade so people don't miss it?"
Shouldn't we put a laser sight on that boot?
put a forward grip and a laser sight on that boot, dude. Right. It's a close up.
Right?
How do you even set it up by saying right boot?
Right. So they get the sheen, man. And it didn't even have like a wing, like a sound effect.
Like the shine, that silver part, because it's black closer to the boot. A little shine went across the tip of the blade. Oh my!
You know what would have been better if it's on the top of this boot, written in like white paint marker. It said "hidden knife," and then it had an arrow pointing at the knife there. That would have been for all the idiots. So
that shit was something awful, and he proceeds to drag this dude out by his leg. But and how do you drag another grown man? Like he just sat there and let him drag him outside by his right leg.
That was weird. Yeah, and he
didn't put up a fight.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Man. Yeah, and so the bouncers beat the crap out of the goons.
God
and
bless her.
Dr. Muffins watches, and she's a little. They don't make this clear in the movie, but I like to imagine this is true. She's a little horrified, but I think she's a little intrigued by the power. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Swayze's eyes. He's already got the hair. We already know he's not wearing underwear. He goes by one name. I think she started ovulating in this scene when she saw his power.
If you look down in the scene, you have to pause it, but you can see she's standing in a puddle. He just got done whooping ass, turns around, and she's standing right there gripping.
Wait a second.
4x4.
Oh, wait a minute. She's gripping lumber, guys. There's a metaphor.
Yeah, she's holding on to that wood. And I want to tell you something. Did everyone else just hear a car horn?
Yeah, what was that? Was that a sound effect?
That was from over here, me.
I'm saying when you delivered that joke, it was the most perfect timing. There was a car and I went, like, hell yeah, respect.
Dude, she's gonna slip and fall, man. If she doesn't watch her feet, she's gonna slip and fall because she's ready.
Right. Yep. So again, his car's destroyed. They get in her Jeep. I don't like Jeeps. I've never liked them, and I don't know why. I don't have an explanation. I just dislike them. I'm not sure why. I dislike very few cars. I dislike Jeeps, like with an animus. I actually really dislike them. Not sure why.
How they pull that stop sign out of the ground and put it?
You know, I wondered the exact same thing because it's going to have the concrete footing poured and everything. And I worked a little construction. You know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because that was the easiest thing they could find to put.
It's right. It's right there with the boot knife gleam. You know, it's just more shit that doesn't make sense. You just got to go with it. Just got to go with it.
It would be easier to pick up the car and impale it on the stop sign.
Yeah.
Than it would be to take that stop sign out.
Oh.
What the hell?
Yeah. So
there's that ugly ass car again.
Yeah. For whatever reason, he's taking a nap on his car, and the goons come up. They want to. Mr. Wesley wants to talk to you, and I think it's Tiny. And it's Tiny, and then the guy that Mr. Wesley beat the shit out of his own guy. Look at those 1980s / early 90s pants. With the pleats and the looseness, that takes you right back to 6th grade.
He couldn't get more flowy, man. Right. He is just loose, silk shirt, flowy top, 87 pleats on those pants. Probably like you don't like, Gabe, but he probably has no socks on, some slip-ons, little Miami Vice action.
Right.
But if he gets more flowy, he's gonna fly away, man.
Look at this. See, I mean, just this is the reaction to this right here. And we won't get deep again because we got deep for 20 minutes. But you want to be a man. You're a little boy. Guys, he's got swagger. He's got looks. He can dance. He can do karate. He's not afraid of bad guys. He'll stand up and say something instead of keeping his head down. And it's such a great lesson to teach the kids. And then you make it fun because you add Bigfoot, you add the boot knife, you add the silliness, and that makes the serious lesson. It makes it fun. Anyways, they bring him in.
The cherry on top of that perfect man that you just described. Don't forget, Gabe, he has a degree in philosophy from NYU. Right. Yes, so he can hold a conversation with you too, ladies, after he leaves your vagina smoking.
Right.
Smoking. Like, crack a window, right?
Damn.
It's burning. Flip it over.
That's what women always want. A guy who's tough, but he's gentle, he's sensitive, maybe knows some philosophy, but he's also like a badass. Swayze's the perfect guy.
So I'm closing in on 26 years of marriage. I got miles to go. What I can see about women, so what I can figure out is they want to own a lion that will kill anyone besides them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's basically what they're like. I don't own a lion. That's dangerous. You know, but like women want to own a lion, like a savage beast who will not turn it ever on them. You know what I mean?
He's Fabio with them at home.
Right.
You know, oh, my beautiful shit, and all that kind of shit.
Remember back in the 90s when Fabio was on a roller coaster and a bird hit him in the face?
Yeah, dude, luckiest bird ever. To hit that face? Come on, that bird was lucky as shit.
All right, so Wesley tries to intimidate him, Wesley tries to rationalize his bullshit here and tell him why it's good that he's doing all this stuff. And again, skimming 10% from a town with 3 stoplights. What is this guy's plan?
It was a Napa Auto Parts that he was skimming 10% off of. And this is a scene where he tells him, and I have respect for Wesley too. He said we got back from Korea. So he's a serviceman. He served his country. But then he says, I don't know. I don't want to call it the weirdest line in cinematic history. You guys tell me. He says, J.C. Penney is coming here because of me.
Right.
What? That's your claim to fame, is that J.C. Penney is coming here because of me. Not a football team, not a big box store to bring jobs. J.C. Penney.
Oh, J.C. Penney, and the J.C. Penney's going to have a Taco Bell Express attached to it.
Yeah. It's going to be a Pizza Hut and a Taco Bell.
You country bumpkins, you guys think you'd have a fucking Taco Bell without me? Hey.
Yeah, and I want you guys to just ponder all of the logistics of this movie for a second, okay? I didn't make my millions to live in a shithole, but dude, that's what you did. You have apparently all the money in the world, and you're like, I'm buying this whole trailer park, every square foot of it, and I'm going to start extorting these poor people for 10% of their cash.
And how do they not notice a monster truck in the parking lot? Yep. Obviously, these guys are here to start shit because there's a giant truck in the parking lot.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, so they're in Bigfoot. Denim is there with, what's his fuck? I don't know his name. He's the guy that has the knife that comes in Big Deal later. And they go on. Oh, yeah, he's out on a date with Muffins. That's right.
And driving her car. They just met 24 hours ago. He's driving her shit.
See, and again, I noticed that because of the feminist world we live in, that's an old school masculine thing. Of course the man drives. Everywhere my wife and I go, Sundays for me and my wife is driving day. We literally are Sunday drivers. We live in San Diego. We'll go up to LA. We've been to Tijuana. We drive all over. We always find somewhere to go on Sundays. I do all the driving. That's just how it should be, man. So,
yep. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. And my wife, does your wife do the like? I'm like, chill out. You think I didn't see that?
Right. Like there's a semi cut you off, and you see it, and you're reacting to it, and she goes, ah! And you're like, what? And you think there's something else that you didn't see.
No.
And she's the semi. And you're like, you mean the 53-foot long red thing that with 18 wheels that I saw and reacted to? Here's another beauty with your wife. She's doing the directions so you can get somewhere you haven't been. And you're 65, 75 miles an hour down the freeway. The exit is 38 feet in front of you. You got to get off right here.
Why? I should have put this in my vows. All right. When we're driving somewhere, give me a heads up.
Right.
All right. Let me know in advance. Don't tell me when my tail light is even with the turn I was supposed to take. Why are you getting mad? Why am I getting mad? Oh, to this day, still does it to me. My goodness. All right. Good to know I'm not alone. Thanks for sharing that story.
You're not alone.
Thank you for that.
It is. It's you're supposed to get off here, and you're literally the nose of your car is already past the exit. It's like, what do you think this is the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, I can't just whip this thing.
We're just gonna jump off the freeway.
You know what? I'm just gonna cut across 4 lanes of high-speed traffic to make this turn. That's what she expects me to do. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not alone. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Because chicks can't drive stick, I've had to do this before to Jeep. I didn't know how to drive stick. I was like 20 years old. My wife had a stick since high school. I had an automatic I inherited from my brother. We first got married. My automatic broke down, had to go to the garage for like a week. So I just had to drive her stick. So I literally just taught myself to for like half a day, just chugging down the road. And then I figured it out, I was reading an article about 2 months ago. Less than 2% of all cars made and sold in America now, new cars, are stick. That's sad. I have a couple cars. I don't need to go into detail about my life, but I have a stick from college, an old Toyota Camry. I love that thing. The 1999 Toyota Camry.
Yeah,
it's a
I
car
have one.
We never drive it, but occasionally we use it. We have our new cars. But is it bronze in color, yours? Because I feel like that's the only color they made.
Mine
Teal,
was,
black, bronze, and white.
It was like a beigey, almost
kind
of color.
Yeah, that's the color.
99 Camry stick shift, going down, teaching myself to drive, going down the highway, I don't know what, 70, and instead of throwing it in fifth gear, I threw it in reverse. Well, your car doesn't like to go in reverse at 70. I don't know if we got any grease monkeys in here.
I'm not an engineer, but I think you're right.
It doesn't like that. But the point is, I learned, man. I got a friend who has an automatic Mustang, and I'm about ready to cut him out of my life. How do you have an automatic Mustang or muscle car, period?
Well, the thing that's even crazier to me, I don't have one yet, but maybe I'm too tall for it, which I resent. Ferrari, Lamborghini, I would like one day. I think I'll have one day. But even those are like automatic and the paddle shifting now. What is the point of having 9 million horsepower if it's like a Nintendo game? What is the point of that?
This is the product of sacklessness, the emasculation, just like Dodge coming out with an electric Charger and Challenger. Don't you realize half of having a muscle car is the sound and that rumble? But don't worry, they're going to have it. It's going to be in a speaker.
Oh, that's cool.
That's just disturbing. I started driving in standard, so I was driving standard, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is all a series of cliffs that are paved. And when you're starting that car up and you're parked on a hill like this, and you gotta go from neutral to drive or whatever direction you're heading in, you got to learn how to drive standard pretty well on mountains, man.
It'll pucker it up for you real quick. I remember leaving a 49er game in San Francisco when it was Candlestick, and they reroute the traffic because Candlestick's kind of on the edge by the water, and they rerouted traffic through downtown San Francisco, downtown Lombard Street, San Francisco. And I hadn't driven a stick in a few years, so this is my reintroduction, and I was on the cars don't obey what they taught you in school. They don't give you plenty of room when they're parked behind you, right up on me. So I had to get it right, and I did. But it'll make that chocolate starfish tighten up a little bit, till you get in gear. But this is what I was talking about. So he gets in a fight with these dudes, and then when Sam Elliott comes out, he's dripping in sweat.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, these guys are beating the crap out of him. Sam Elliott shows up and helps save the day. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And again, that righteous.
Look at that. Salt and pepper. Look at him. He's all wet. His hair's all
look how dark his hair is because it's wet. You're right.
Yep.
And he has to have broken ribs. These guys are holding him, and this big old, got to be 6'5", 6'6", 270-pound dude is just teeing off on his rib cage, and then he's just totally fine. Give Sam Elliott a hug. Oh man, good to see you. Good to see you.
They dispatch the bad guys, and these two charming fellows, they're in it together. So now they know the fight they have ahead of them, stopping Wesley and his goons from skimming 10% off of people who don't have a lot of money.
Over $48.
Again, so that's a whole $4.80 that's mine, and I'm going to spend it at the J.C. Penney, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hey, boss, why did you want us to burn that vacant field? It hasn't paid this month.
And then the one dojo in town, I'm going to take over the one dojo.
I want it. All the businesses in town, I want them. All right? 10% off the top.
And 10%, by the way. I mean, it's a small town. Maybe go with 30 or 40%.
That was very nice of him.
Yeah, 10%. All right, I'll do 9 for you.
Okay,
geez. Let's take a moment. Hold on. We got to go back to her just for a second. I know
how beautiful is she? Tell me right now.
Listen, folks. When I like if you this is so terrifying.
Shanth, you definitely have a type, my friend.
I have a type, but this is even scarier. Okay, so I was so in love with her. I drew her into the first comic I did when I was 14. I made her like a newscaster, like in the old.
You better
comics.
have an image of that. You better have that.
I have the book. I will get the book. I will get the book. I promise you. It's right over there. Don't let me forget. But here's the funny thing. I had not really seen this movie in a while. I start watching it with my wife, and she looks over at me, and she's like, Jesus, that looks like me in my 20s. I went,
what do you mean?
yeah, it's not good, guys. It's like, so I then,
about?
you know, and I just told her, I go, the first moment I saw her on screen, I said, I've got to make a skin suit with that. I mean, what I'm trying to say. But she's, yeah, you know, I mean, it's stalker level creepy when you see this and you go, ah, crap. Like, I probably did have a type.
Gorgeous.
Oh, my
and
Lord.
Can we get a shout out for Keith David? He's the new bartender after the brand new revamped Double Deuce.
Right, and you know, he's credited in the beginning of the movie like one of the top 5 billed people, and that must be a new edition of the movie because his role is next to nothing in this. But I think when they remastered the movie, 2002 or 3, he's famous, so they put his name up there. Shanth has a type. I for sure have a type.
There you go.
For sure. So this is more my speed. I like blondes, but you give me Sophia Loren all day. That is more my type.
It's a classic beauty, man. Classic beauty. We don't have those classic, elegant women, the Lena Hornes, of the world. We just don't have that anymore, man. I would love to go back to the times of, every man wore a suit, every woman wore a dress, and not to get all, I want a cold beer and a hot meal, woman. Not like that, but just a level of class and elegance,
grace.
You know what I've noticed in the last few years, the yoga pants and the super trampy outfits were de rigueur. That was like normal for most young women to wear. And my wife and I, we always go out on dates and go travel. And we do a lot of driving around. And Southern California has so much going on. And we've noticed the two of us, young women wearing looser, prettier, classier, like flower dresses, looser, like jeans and stuff. And I was actually uplifted, like, oh, this is nice. You can be beautiful without being like literally, and I'm not exaggerating, literally dressing the way 90s movie prostitutes dressed.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to dress like that. I have women out there, 1% of my audience, women.
Yeah, like you can see.
If you give it away for free, you're giving it away for free, like a Costco sample. They're going to come up to you. You're the Costco person. You got the hot wings for free or the hot dogs. They're going to take it. They're going to eat it. Then they're going to feel a little bit of guilt and say, hey, where do you guys, where are these hot wings? You're going to tell them where it is, and then they're not going to go there, and they're going to leave the store without buying the hot wings. Do you understand the metaphor I'm making here? Yep. Like, don't give it away.
We were naive, though. We were naive because when we saw those sweatpants or we saw those outfits that were fit for the corner, we thought, well, there can't be any kind of trend in women that could be worse than this, perhaps. And we find ourselves in the blue-haired mania that we're in today that seems like it makes those women look like Sophia Loren by comparison. It is, honest to God, when I see people in, we've all seen the memes, these shrieking, failure to launch experiments in humanity. And then you see, well, go back to that shot right there. Go back to that shot when, look at her when she's dancing with his friend. That is the definition of radiant to me. Mm-hmm. She is radiant. She is a stunner. And I look at that and I just think, what in where did that go? And by the way, she has charmed both of those guys. Both of those two guys are like, you mess with her, you're going to deal with us. Yeah, that's the power she has. And it's so depressing, man. It's depressing, to see people giving. This is the main thing that pisses me off about it. To see people, giving young women and young men too, but young women in particular, some of the worst advice ever. Men and women, I will say this, are getting equal quantities of terrible advice. It's just one group of bad decisions are being defended. Because I have this theory that the entire purpose of the bitter middle-aged feminist is to keep a young woman in her prime, making herself as ugly and unappealing as possible until they miss their window. I'm convinced of this because they can't stand the beauty of young women coming up, and they know that if these women discover their power, it's over for them. That femininity beats feminism every day of the week, and this is femininity. It is a powerful thing. It motivates men. It's why all these guys are like, Casey, I like you and all, and Under Siege, but I'm not going to take a bullet for you. What about for Jordan? All right, I'll take 5 bullets for Jordan. But listen,
the whole magazine right now.
That's right. I will eat that entire swimming pool of bouillabaisse for that gal. That's all it is, man.
Misery loves company, man. Those spinsters, they want to see those women just as miserable as they are. And once that window is closed and you're covered in, cat hair and piss, that's how they want it to be. They want those women to be miserable just like them because they squandered their youth. But it's not even, the clothes are important, but I wish every woman would understand it's you. It's a woman. It's an aura that you have. It's this glow that you're a woman, your hips and your body. You don't need all that. You don't need to pants so tight I can see your labia, because you're gonna get men. You'll get some men, but you're not getting them long term. But they'll smash and they'll dine and dash for sure.
Yeah, they'll give you the old Costco, like I said, the free sample. Pretend you're interested, and then you're out. And then you're there. But right here, William 03, Sex and the City was a disaster for women. I saw this article a couple years ago. It's like 10 years old or whatever. This article, and it's Sex and the City writer Candace Bushnell, 60, admits she regrets choosing career over having children, as she is now truly alone. And I don't laugh at her and haha feminist. No. Again,
I do.
John, Jericho, and myself, I think I can speak for all three of us. I hope so. When I say we're anti-feminist because we love women, not because we hate them. Feminism hates women. It absolutely hates women. Well, it tells women that loving your family and your husband and serving your husband is slavery. But what? You're going to go work in another office and make a different man than your husband? You're going to make him rich and his life better? Why the fuck would you do that? So they can give you a minimum 1.3% raise a year and you get 8 vacation days. Come on. That's a ripoff. Get the hell out of here. Your husband wants to love you, provide for you, protect for you. Feminism, it's a disgusting, it's a menace.
This is the thing, right? And I said this, I remember saying this to students, and I gotta say I had some moments as a teacher. I had some good lines in there every now and again to get people to change their thinking. And I said, let me ask you a question, guys. You say that when a guy does paintings like this, or does paintings like the one behind me for Coach John Malin, when somebody is doing these kinds of paintings, they say, you know what? You hate women when you do those paintings. It's about you hating women. It's about you hating women. I said, okay, cool. I'll grant you that. So let's carry this to the next stage. You come over to my house, you meet my wife and kids, and then you look around on all my walls, and on all those walls are sexy, half-naked or naked men on every wall in my house in provocative positions. Is your first thought, man, Shanth hates men? Is that your first thought? Or are you like, holy shit, how is his wife that fucking stupid? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That if that isn't your first thought, and that the argument is over at that point. But you know what? This is the thing.
I don't know, Sean. I just thought you like to go camping with your buddies all the time, So.
Seriously, that's right. That's right.
You told me about that time.
The funniest thing about that is I was like,
you told me
I don't want to go camping again.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. But this is the thing, fellas. This is a big thing I want to say, and I'll say this to people. I'll attack one group. Fucking hell, Frazetta in your profile pic. You rock. Done. Frazetta is my biggest artistic influence. His Conan is the shit. So hats off to you, my friend. But this is the thing I'm going to say. If I will go after a political party, and I'll go after people in terms of this one thing. Conservatives are getting better at this, but they have been making the shittiest arguments to everybody on these fronts. Because if you are right, and you know it, and the evidence is on your side, it can only be your poor arguments for why you can't get stuff done. You can't. You watched Joe Rogan get dismantled the other day with 2 or 3 quick, easy to remember statements that disarmed somebody who tried to bring emotion into it, bring emotional reasoning into all this shit. How is it that we in the art world are losing the argument where the argument is essentially, no, ugly is beautiful and beautiful is ugly. If you can't win that argument, that's on us. Do you know what I mean? That's on us. Right. And if you're losing the argument to women, that weak, very disturbed men, as a lot of these guys, these male feminists turn out to be, if you're losing the argument to them, you're doing something wrong, because you put a real man in front of a woman. You put, like, when I saw my wife, I remember thinking this to myself. It was, and I said this to my daughter, when I saw her mother for the first time, I looked across the room and there was something about her that was just beautiful. It wasn't what she was wearing. It wasn't this. It was just this thing. When you see a woman and you're like, I'm attracted to her. That's what it is. And you should not be getting in the you should be accentuating that with makeup, your hair, whatever you're doing, but you shouldn't be getting in the way of that with what you do to yourself. You shouldn't be bulldozing it by putting on too much makeup or making yourself look like a circus freak. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. Fuck. Right. Sorry.
All right, man. No man wants to be with a disagreeable fucking buzz cut asshole. No man wants that. Men bring their own.
That's my guy friends. Energy. My guy friends have a buzz cut and argue with me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll be friends with a bald-headed Jericho, but not my wife. Please,
you hear that freaking Bill Burr joke about that? He was in Ireland and he goes, you guys, ladies, you can't be having these super short haircuts. He goes, I don't want to be behind you and thinking, I feel like I'm screwing my friend Kyle. And this Irish girl with the short haircut came up to him after the show and she goes, is this the haircut you are talking about? And he goes, it's the worst I've ever felt. He goes, she was a 10, but it was brutal. I was like,
it is what it is. The work, the heavy lifting has been done. Just enjoy being a woman. Bask in it, and you will attract men. But yeah, it's funny. All these women, who are these old spinsters now, are like, man, I'm lonely. Yeah, well, why would you want to bring that upon somebody else?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Look at her.
And I think in this scene, I don't know. Yes. Sam was pushing it a little bit. Like, it's my girl. Back up, man.
I love this. That
was a great line, though.
Yeah, Sam Elliott's like, that gal's got entirely too many brains to have an ass like that. He's like, ass, it's what's for dinner.
And that's after he showed his, like, the top 4 inches of his pubes. That shit was gross.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Right. Because he was showing a scar. He had a scar on his hip. So he undoes his fly, and as you do in the middle of a diner, pull your pants down.
Not to code, man. Not to code.
This motherfucker's another silky one. He doesn't wear underwear either.
That's what I said. Underwear were not allowed on the set.
You know what? I think that Buick and Gold Bond sponsored this movie. That's what I'm starting to think. If you don't have undies, if you don't have underwear, I know you owe Gold Bond. I know you have it at your house.
Yeah, man, shit. It was unnecessary, unsanitary. It was a lot of things.
Yeah.
But he straight pulled out his pubes. I think there must have been somebody on set to check people before they got on set to see whether or not they had on underwear. Because nobody.
They had to walk through.
Nobody had draws on in that movie.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Okay, so Sam Elliott joins him in the bar. They're going to work a little bit together there because they know things are rough now. Wesley and his weirdo goons, and of course their Bigfoot truck, and of course Denim are lurking in the shadows, ready to strike at any moment. Oh, and also, Red won't pay his 10% at the auto parts store.
You know what that means?
How much money could Red have been making at this thing?
Yeah.
A day?
Yeah, jeez.
Like $7.50. $7.50, not $750.
Right. So they blow up Red's store. Then they're like smug, who, me, at the bar later.
Yeah.
And then
wait.
Girl,
wasn't Red? Was Red in the store? Wasn't
no.
Like,
he drove up right after. Because I
drove up right after. I was about to say, I was like, damn, because I was trying to remember. I think it was his friend.
Right. No, Red survived that. He wasn't in the store. The store, they had the decency to not blow Red up. Or maybe they didn't care if he was in there or not. They just didn't know. And then we get this weird scene where Wesley makes his girlfriend dance like a stripper.
And that guy's staring directly.
And now see, this guy This guy's not fond of the ladies.
Denim.
At
You know,
Dalton.
he doesn't like the ladies, so he doesn't like this dance. So he's got to put a stop to this. That's my theory.
How the fuck did we make it this far into the movie without? We don't want to get a copyright strike, but with you showing Denim and playing from Dirty Dancing, Hungry Eyes.
I think it was under 30 seconds or something. You're good, as long as it's just a little.
Oh, dude, that's rough, man. That's rough, but yeah.
Denim was all business, man. Denim was not there to play around. And he started, he was whooping Sam Elliott's ass for a little bit. And then Dalton jumped in, and then that's when Wesley fired a shot into the air. Don't forget, when Swayze went to Wesley's house when he was sitting down eating and, the flowy outfit, they came in, and the girl who's dancing on stage now had a noticeable shiner on her face, because that was after Denim pulled her out of the club. So it looks like Wesley slapped her around a little bit, and then puts her up on stage to drop it like it's hot for all these fellas.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the shit that if like, and that's one of the weird things about being a guy, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but it's like if I see a woman with a black eye or a bruise on her face, it could be like she really could actually just be an accident, right? But you see it, and something about you goes, "This is not right.
Yeah,
this is unfucking acceptable, man." I mean, it was a hard part of me watching women's MMA for a while, man.
I don't like watching that.
Yeah, when that first came out on the scene, and I saw a woman with a black eye, like that was my intro to it. It was like, and I realized it's a sport, people doing things, it's great, right on. But there was something about seeing that, having not had any context for that except for domestic, and I was like, oh man, it kind of sickens you. So when you see somebody, certainly when you see somebody outside of that forum, you know what I mean? It's like, no, son, don't do
and
that.
she had a black eye and like a cut on her nose or something. Like, you beat the shit out of her.
Yeah. You know what I thought was a very interesting choice in this scene, where she's like in a strip, and he like starts a fight with all the bouncers and Patrick Swayze and everything. I thought it was really interesting that they had the bed of this there.
Swayze was like, wait, which movie am I in? What do I do?
Yeah, which movie? That's right.
What do you
and
want
then he
me to
does
do?
the lift.
He lifts up Denim.
Yeah.
Oh,
He did. He lifted him up.
It's all
wrong. And I thought it was real weird when they went into the duet, the two of them.
Yeah, that's right.
He to Denim's credit, he did the Aaron Gray part really good. I didn't know he could hit the falsetto.
Yeah, he did.
It was amazing, though.
He nailed it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Denim's a talented man. Denim is very talented.
And then in this lawless fucking town, there's no cops. Bigfoot's running over people with the truck. People getting beat up. And this motherfucker fires a 38 into the air.
Yeah,
and it's like he's driving in every lane of the road, shooting guns in the air. He's an absolute menace. This guy. He's a terrible criminal. He's not making any money. He's breaking every law. He's gonna go to jail or whatever, die something. But it's not worth it what he's doing. He's not really gaining much. He's really an imbecile, this guy. It's very entertaining.
Where are the police? I still need an answer to that, because this dude's discharged a firearm in public. Well, eventually he's going to order something done with the monster truck.
Right.
And there were no cops there to process the scene.
Right.
Nothing. He just drove it through there, and that's it. I'm Wesley.
Chevelle 11B. It's Paul Pelosi.
Just reckless.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
yeah,
man.
The fires are going to stop the fight. Then some of the older guys in town, they're being bullied. It's just like a Western, because Westerns are two things. A Western is a man comes to town or a man leaves town. That's usually what a Western is. And so it's just like a Western, a John Wayne, a Clint Eastwood movie, where the stranger comes to town and sets things right. And it's even set in Missouri, So it is a Western in some sense, this movie is. And so these old guys have been getting bullied, losing 10% to this guy, and they're having a meeting with Swayze. And we go over to the car dealership. He hasn't been paying his 10% or something. I don't know. And he gets told by Wesley, you got to pay me all my money. And Bigfoot runs over all the cars. Look at the smile on Wesley's face here. That's not acting, guys.
Yeah, that was real. That was a real scene right there. He laughed his ass off.
He knows how ridiculous this movie is, and he's having more fun than anybody right now.
But not only does he run over those cars, that's after he smashes. That whole thing was covered in like a glass. I don't know, almost like a greenhouse.
Yeah, it was like a showroom.
It was covered in glass.
Yeah.
And then how many people? There are probably 150 people here at this car dealership. Just a crowd of people. And he drives the shit through the building. No law enforcement.
Louis Fillet has it. One cannot underestimate the power a J.C. Penney brings man. So a J.C. Penney's coming to Jasper because of me.
He's like, I know, and he's like, I control the underwear supply in this town.
Fenrir Fire says Amazon the rings of J.C. Penney's power.
That man was drunk off JCP. He was drunk.
Oh my God.
That's it, man. He was high on JC.
He said, JC Penney's coming here because of me, you fucks.
Yeah. He punched through a brick wall. How did he do it? He was high on JCP.
How shitty were these townspeople's lives until JC Penney came in the fucking town?
My God.
Huh? You can't go anywhere and see shirts folded like that. There are not a lot of stores where you can buy clothes and get a family portrait in it. Those people needed that shit in Jasper.
You Buick!
Hey, you bring me that fucking Buick here to me tonight.
I want all the Buicks smashed. I want all the fucking Buicks flattened before JC Penney gets here.
I want them smashed. All right? I want them fucking smashed.
Oh my God. We need to write an action movie, guys.
I want you to smash those fucking Buicks, and I'm gonna build my fucking JC Penney right fucking there.
But Mr. Wesley, are you sure? I want them smashed.
Let me tell you something. I want to prove a point, okay? I seriously think we need to prove a point. As we need to put up a fucking.
That's a good one, Deadpool.
Oh my
Thank
God.
You. In another 2 years, we're getting a fucking blockbuster video.
And I want them to build the blockbuster right here.
I'm telling you right, guys. We need to do, I swear I don't know how we get it done, but we have to do it. We need to do an Indiegogo, all right, for an action movie comic book that we write. It's just freaking insane.
So he just has his arm around and go, hey, picture this, you dumb broad. We're going to have a fucking JC Penney right here, and then right on the other side. Hey, pay attention. On the south side, we're going to put a fucking blockbuster right there.
Gabe, I'm telling you, man. I want us to do a comic book made up of shots, screen caps that we alter from all these movies.
If you think there's a chance in hell that we're not going to talk about bouillabaisse and beef law, you're out of your fucking mind. Beef law, there's going to be a lot of bouillabaisse.
That's a secret to his power, man.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Oh
Concentrated bouillabaisse.
Oh, my gosh.
Holy shit, guys.
Yes, take my money. Absolutely.
Why was that so funny? I don't know.
Well, again, that's why I want to do an action movie. That's not why I want to. That's why I am doing it, because I love this shit. It's so much fun.
That's right.
That is, we caught a real human moment here, and I'm being serious. This actor, Italian name, Grazia or something, that is literal. He's not acting at all. That is joy on his face.
Yeah.
He's having fun.
That's like Seagal in Out for Justice. They were genuine when he drove by and the girl's like, hey, you want to fuck? And he's like, oh shit. Like that was real.
Did you hear what she just said?
I think that was like a hooker wandering near the set, or maybe they used her as an extra. And he was not ready for that line at all.
Dude, she wasn't ready for that line.
Did you hear what she said? Yeah, she asked you if you wanted a Buick.
Hey.
$10 for a Buick, honey.
JC Penney catalog in the mail was an event in the 80s.
It was. It was. I think toward the back were the toys.
All right.
That's right.
Dead Punk Gage is helping us out here. He's gonna hire Joe Pesci to run the incoming Jerry. Hey, what do you want in your fucking Blizzard?
Hey,
the fucking Heath Bar, the fucking Oreos.
You got 3 fucking choices here. All right, you got the vanilla ice cream, sprinkles, chocolate, or fucking bouillabaisse.
No, Anthony, he can order for himself. Like, what do you mean you want the vanilla? Vanilla how?
You know what? Fuck it. Everybody's getting bouillabaisse.
So anyway, for some unknown reason, they have Bigfoot destroy the car dealership.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for him too, because if you look in the top right, it was right in the middle of Wagon Days, man. Everybody was looking forward to Wagon Days. That's just sad.
That's
I don't know what Wagon Days was, but I think the people of Jasper, Missouri, I think it was the fabric of their society was a Wagon Days.
That's a lot more than 10% worth of damage.
But listen though, folks, we've had some Buicks represented positively. What do we got in there? We've got a bunch of Fords being curb stomped by a truck with Ford prominently displayed, by the way, in the dealership.
Buick backed this for sure.
Food for thought.
This is Buick money.
Food for thought.
Okay, so she tells him he's a creep, whatever. Then we cut to the barn, and we got Sam Elliott, and then Dalton. He's pissed off about how things are going. He feels frustrated. How are we going to stop this bully? He's getting 10% of all the bouillabaisse in town. They're making their plan that they're going to go after this guy. They're going to put a stop to this nonsense. The girls, of course, telling him, it's too. What is she telling him here? It's too dangerous. You're scary. You're like,
you don't know him. You don't know how far he'll go
or whatever.
Yeah, you'll never beat him.
J.C. Penney.
You don't understand.
Man.
He owns J.C. Penney.
Oh God, she's something else.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I will say,
I think John's right. I think she's telling him to leave town here.
Yeah, because he's not ready for Wesley. Wesley's too crazy. But I will say this: their love scene was that the worst kissing scene ever. His mouth was like open, her mouth was closed. He's like kissing on top of her lips. That shit was very hard to watch. But as a kid, I wanted them to fast forward through the love scene.
That's exactly right.
Hey, listen, we try to keep it PG-13 here. They do it standing up against the wall.
Come on.
And I'm just like, that's definitely like a movie thing, guys.
I'll leave
it there. I'll leave it there.
Oh, something that I forgot. When Sam Elliott when he showed up and he went out back, where Dalton, because he asked me, he's a little scrawny guy named Dalton here. Yeah, he's out back. And he goes out there and he's fighting the dude, or he's about to fight the dudes. And he said, "What do you want, Dad?" And he goes, "Well," and I quote, "I sure didn't come out here to show you my dick."
That's right.
God, man.
That's what he said, man.
There's some weird dialogue in this movie. And
I do love, show you my dick.
I do love that the showstopper is coming. The final bit of weird dialogue.
It is.
Yes.
The nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Yeah, it's crazier than chicken dick. Believe me.
Hey, come on, chicken dick.
Hey, you fucking chicken dick motherfucker.
Guys, let's speak to this though, right? Because for as many bouillabaisse jokes as we've got going, the reality is these things could fit into any one of these movies, because there got to be a point after the first Die Hard, I think when we rolled into Die Hard 2 in 1990 and all these different time periods, where we just kept trying to hoping we'd come up with that new innovative profanity, like yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yep. Right.
And so we were just throwing words together. It was like a word salad of profanity in an attempt to come up with something. And quite often, when they didn't land, they just came off as a little bit creepy. That's basically what we had, man.
It was a bad one, man. There's a lot of things you could say when you're about to square off with a guy, but I didn't come out here to show you my dick. It was not on the top of my list.
Not in there, yeah, exactly.
Right. So after he gives her the old heave ho up against the wall, they burn down their little love nest here, and he runs a little bit like Forrest Gump here. Is how it looks in this
just
picture.
A bit.
He has a different kind of walk too. Swayze has a very unique walk, a very unique stride, gait, if you will. But he saved Old Man Johnson though.
Yeah, he was in there, man. Yeah,
he saved him.
Here he's looking a little bit like Dan Lawless, don't you think, Sean?
Yeah, he is straight up.
He's an artist friend of ours, Jericho. It's funny. It looks a little bit like him there. This is where we get the fight. Denham has been waiting for this moment.
Since he laid eyes on Dalton, he's been waiting to tell him this.
Right. Wow. Don't forget where this all started, guys. When he first saw him at the Double Deuce.
When he wrote that graffiti on the wall.
Denham and Dalton.
Denham loves Chachi.
He couldn't wait to tell him this, man.
I gotta find the window that's playing this music. Okay, there it is. I have so many windows open. Sorry.
He couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to whisper these sweet nothings.
Right. Right.
There it is.
And then
Oh,
the pivotal moment when it seems that all is lost, he decides to tell Dalton this. Now I have a little video of it. I made a promo for tonight's show. I'll play it for you guys really quick. You have to see this shit to believe it. Hold on, let me bring it up. Is it on screen? Yeah, it's on screen.
Yeah. Oh my
Hold
God.
on. I played this at the top of the show. We'll play it again because I am confounded by this. I'd never have seen this movie till yesterday or the day before. But I saw this clip a couple years ago, and I've just wondered, like, what is this movie about? So here we go. Denim has been brooding the whole time, I think in love with Dalton.
Definitely.
Oh.
What, sir?
Dude, this is the scary part. If you guys got the novelization of this, which of course I did, in the novelization, it's revealed that he never did any time in prison. He just came by for conjugal visits.
Oh,
This guy is a maniac.
Dude, there was no, I got this guy from prison. He's fresh. None of that. There was no indication that he had a criminal past or anything like that. It was just that I guess, all the testosterone and the sweat and the fighting and the blood, that shit just boiled to the surface. But he said that shit to him.
he just couldn't take it anymore. Now, according to the fans, 131 votes later, Denim said to Dalton that he used to F guys like him in prison because A, he loved Dalton. No, 70%. He hated how much he loved Dalton. That's only 40. And at 44%, this guy was drunk off his ass on moonshine. But in defense of choice A, I still think A wins because in vino veritas.
That's right.
So, the truth can come out in alcohol. I will now end the poll, and we know that Denim was, in fact, shit-faced when he said that. Right.
But
and now you know.
Having not known you guys for very long, but knowing from what you told us when you got, when you laid the tracks with the zipper, I think we've all been inebriated, right? We've all been drunk. Mm-hmm. I've been fucking blackout drunk before. I've never said to anybody, I used to fuck guys like you in prison or anywhere else.
Right.
I don't know where that came from, Denim, but you need to take it back.
Sometimes I get a little drunk and I say things like, not something, oh shit. No, David, no.
David, no. That's cross-pollination. We're bringing the country crock to the bouillon, baby.
I feel like it was rude at the very least. It was
uncalled for. That man needed killing right after that.
Yeah, you have to give me your throat, sir.
It's a fun fight. Oh, my daughter didn't get the picture of it. Oh, Swayze rips his throat out, and that's important for a little bit later.
But why is she so concerned about Denim being dead? She jumps in the water and turns him over and checks him to see if he's dead. Why does she give a shit?
It just tried to blow up an old man.
Yeah, and he's beating up Dalton with no underwear. Right. Why are you so concerned? Maybe that was the medical or Hippocratic oath or something. She is a doctor.
Yeah. I like that he has a phone convo with Wesley here. Now, Wesley's I think he's all stupid and crazy. Maybe he's really brilliant but crazy, like a savant or something. But his whole deal of stealing 10% from businesses that don't make any money just befuddles me. But I do love it because it's insane.
I now own 10% of your debt.
Right. 10%. And this is a messed up part here where he tells Dalton, heads or tails, I'm going to either kill your girlfriend or I'm going to kill your old buddy, Sam Elliott. And he flips a coin and that's that, and he makes his choice. And let's see. Oh, yeah. Sam Elliott is hurt from all the fighting that's been going on. Dalton leaves him at the bar, says, okay, you stay here. You relax at the bar. I'm going to go handle business and go check some things out. He's going to get muffins. He's going to get muffins and leave town. That's right, right? Yeah, is that what it was? That's right. So he's choosing to leave. He is going to capitulate. Let Wesley have his 10% of fucking nothing. JCPenney. Do you know how many pairs of Levi's 501 blues we're going to sell in the children's back to school sale?
Hey, you want fucking Trapper Keepers? You want 5 stars and number 2 pencils? You fucking see me.
I'm cornering the husky size market. Tough skins from here to there.
You think JCPenney would be here without me?
God, that is just genius.
Fucking
But
West.
let's just
Oh,
pause
shit.
for a moment, right? This is the kind of image, man, that just when you're a young man, that imprinted on me, and I was like going, I gotta do whatever it takes to find me a lady like that.
I gotta get me
man.
one of those.
I gotta get me one of those.
But who wrote that J.C. Penney line?
Freaking
Like,
J.C. Penney and Buick wrote this.
That's who funded this.
They did something different. We're gonna bring in some writers from J.C. Penney and Buick. I didn't know they had writers, but we're bringing them in.
Yeah.
Holy hell!
Oh
yeah, that's a great pick right there.
Yeah,
That
so
is
they're going to get out of town. I had that wrong. So he's going to wait at the bar. Swayze's going to go to the hospital and get Dr. Muffins, and they're all going to skip town because Wesley is apparently Godzilla and cannot be stopped.
Nope.
He does have a Bigfoot truck in his arsenal, so you know.
He does, yeah.
So, and then he heads back to the bar, and this knife with "It Was Tails" is stuck into Sam Elliott's chest, and he's dead. Now, I was thinking of the logistics of this. Ostensibly, this stab below the heart, but in the aorta is what killed him. So he was alive, and then some goons held the paper up, and then the killer put the knife into the paper. He's all, hold this fucking paper up before I kill this fucking mook.
Hold on, I'm still writing. It was Tails. Hold him, you fucking Mama Luke.
I think it's better if they stab him with the piece of paper. He's like, whoa, I didn't write anything. And then he's got to write around the knife.
It looks like he did.
You fucking idiots.
That's true.
He's all, you fucking jerk off. We rehearsed in the parking lot. I write on the paper and then I stab him.
What if it was, I'm photoshopping this with a winky face emoji on it?
Or just an LOL afterwards.
Yes.
LOL, LMFAO.
Oh, God. Or an eggplant and a chicken.
We caught that chicken, Dick.
So they killed his buddy, which was sad because the buddy, Sam Elliott, was really charming. Seemed like he reminded me of like a Labrador, like a dog, like a Chewbacca. You know, like you don't want to see your best buddy and his flowing mane of hair. You don't want to see him die like this, like a fucking Mama Luke.
Hey, but Chewbacca, but with way more pubic hair. If that's
right.
Jeez, no.
Dude, that was a fucking nest. That was a nest. That was a nest.
All right. So in the middle of the day, Patrick Swayze's coming for the goon squad at Wesley's compound. You got to get an 80s car off of a ramp, spinning, corkscrewing in the air, and exploding. You got to love that. And of course, this was the Mercedes that he brought from New York. And he used the knife, the very knife that killed his friend, to hold down the accelerator. They're like, and then they open the car door, and this dude puts the knife back in his boot or his hip holster or whatever. And then he hunts them down one by one in the house, and they do it pretty quickly. You know, he's like, he dispatches the guys fast. This is a shot right here. Is this the shotgun? No, this is the knife. This guy's own knife back in his gut right here. So that's a little retribution for his friend. That's awesome.
But no note, though.
Right.
No notes.
Hey, chicken dick. I said I put the fucking note first.
With fucking chicken dick over here.
Written by Mad Libs.
And then the nephew gets it too. The nephew gets, I think, shot with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And then a really weird thing happens. Tiny gets not killed, but crushed by a polar bear because there's this whole room of apparently Wesley's some sort of a safari man and a hunter. He has all these, ox and caribou and caribou, and like polar bears, all kinds of animals, lions' heads, deer's heads.
Yeah, he's been all over the fucking world.
Swayze pushes a giant, like 10-foot tall polar bear, and it falls on this guy. It doesn't kill him, but knocks him out, pins him to the ground. Then Swayze has a huge fight with Wesley with some spears, gunplay, fighting. It's a crazy fight.
Gabe, don't you gloss over that spear fight.
Okay.
Because he was 10 feet away and missed him with a spear, but somehow was able to grab another one and start beating his ass with it. Like Swayze was literally like this, just getting whipped with this spear, the second spear. And he had like a umbrella holder full of spears that he just collected. And then he momentarily gets the upper hand on.
We can't
Mr.
overstate
Dalton.
this. From Double Impact to you guys, we want you to understand this. If you're going to get in a fight, bring a second spear.
Right.
Because if you
Well,
miss
obviously.
with the first,
I mean, that's you know, my grandpa used to say that all the time, Shots, you know.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Like, what are you, a fucking asshole? You only got one fucking spear. You piece of shit. And then how many guns does he kick out of people's hands in this movie? He kicks the same gun out of his hand twice. He kicks that gun out of his hand twice.
This little baby gun. What is that?
Well, it's a Derringer. That's like a little you know, fucking, what do they call that? What do you take off the bride at the reception? Her
Yeah.
The garter belt.
Yeah, that's like a little garter belt gun. That's like
Wait, can I say something? I gotta say this, mentioning garter belts. I've never verbalized this to anyone in my life. You know, you have thoughts. The whole thing at a wedding, you have thoughts and they're important to you. You just never, I realize I've never said this to anyone. As you all know, I don't like trashy things. It's just not my style. I can get PG-13, but I don't like trashiness. And when I'm at a wedding, and I don't mean to offend if any of you have done this, but when the groom sticks his head under the bride's dress, and, I mean, come on, we're not stupid. He sticks his head under her fucking dress in front of the grandma, the 6-year-old nephew. Everybody's there. What the hell are you doing? And then comes out with the garter belt, and everyone claps like that wasn't totally inappropriate. Yeah. And every time I see it, I'm like, am I the only one that thinks this is really nasty for a family event? Is it me? I've never said this out loud, but I've always thought this is insanely nasty and sexual. There are kids here. Fucking grandma is here. She's 93. You're trying to give her a stroke. Is it me? Am I a prude, or is that like raunchy?
No, that's raunchy.
It's raunchy, but I'm going to defend it now. I got to defend this. Because
of course.
Of course I do. Of course. By the way, for those of you guys wondering, I work occasionally a little R. But this is the thing. The thing I would say about it is that when you think about it from the perspective of where it is in time, you know, I mean, we're not living in Viking times, obviously, but the statement now is that this is, we all know, everybody at the wedding having this lovely party knows exactly what is supposed to happen next, traditionally. What's about
but not before the soup gets to the table.
No, but here we are. Well, that's usually at the wrap up of it, but this is the other thing about it. It's also so that, you know, you've got the women catching the bouquet. There's an element of that is a very guy thing. Do you know what I mean? Which is, it's like, to me, I got to tell you, I think that there is something about that's what's missing, because everybody knows what's up. Like when we talk about all those grandmas and all of those family members, now the kids don't know what the hell's going on. They just think it's funny. It means nothing to them. But all those grandparents who had, you know, the parents and everything else there, they're not that naive. They're not looking at this going, what are they going to do later, dear? They're like, remember when we used to do it, babe? Like, it's happening, okay? Hey. That's how your grandpa died. You know, I'm sorry to say.
Hey, hurry up and stick your nose in a clam so we can cut the fucking cake.
Exactly. That's right.
Let's go, hey.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
That's right. Women jumping in strapless dresses. There you go.
I can see how you would have umbrage with that, Gabe. I understand.
I'm not like, let's stop the wedding or I'm going to complain. I keep it to myself, as I have my whole life until just now. But I've always seen it and I've been like, this is awkward. I remember we all got to go see the Watchmen movie for free when I was on staff for DC Comics Warner Brothers. And we went with the whole office, like 30 people from IDW. They rented a theater for us to see it. Jim Lee, all the artists are there. Everybody's there. And there's a scene where Owlman and Sally Jupiter, someone, they're doing it in his ship.
Oh, yeah. But
they are doing it.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there with all your coworkers watching all this thrusting and riving.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. It was just, I don't want to watch this with all of you guys. I don't want to watch it alone, but I don't want to watch it with you guys. I don't want someone's head under the dress and then my auntie is there. It's weird.
I support you, man. I support you on that. But I want to tell you this. You just are reminding me of one of the worst experiences I had, because I went to go see that movie. Wasn't a wild fan of it, but some people are. But what I remember is a dad coming in there with two kids who had to have been like 6 and 8 to that movie. Now, if you think, you know, the 6 and 8-year-old watching, you know, the garter come off, holy cow, Gabe. I was like going, what do we even do?
Right.
Like, this movie is bleak. It is graphic.
Right.
I mean, guy get his arms chainsawed off, you know, to put it mildly. And then that scene, the whole movie, I was sitting here going, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with these kids?
my wife and I went to see that movie Savages with Selma Hayek and Blake Lively or whatever. It opens with a fuck scene. The opening scene is her getting banged by one or both of them, I think, one at a time, but she bangs both of them. And there was this family a couple rows ahead of us. It was a dad. Obviously, after you hear how it plays out, it was his idea to go. It was a dad, a mom, and maybe a 5 or 6 year old daughter. And when that scene opened, the mom turns to him. She hit him in the arm, like, "What the fuck you got us here watching, man?" That movie was raw. And I remember being very uncomfortable 10 feet away from a toddler watching this super violent movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rough, man. That is some rough stuff.
This comment by Admiral Wackass, he says, I always laughed about the Game of Thrones sound engineers having to make sucking noises. Yeah, I follow on Instagram. I like this guy, Audio Studio, and he's a Foley artist, and he's got really interesting little videos where he apparently he works in Hollywood and all that, and he makes all the noises. So, you know, the horse or the fight noises and all that, and it's a really interesting thing. It's Audio Studio if you guys want to check him out or follow him. I'm fascinated by stuff like this. I didn't know Foley is what this art form is called in media.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it existed. And I remember doing improv comedy when I was 8 years old. I didn't know improv existed. I just did it. I would get a tape deck, put the tape in, hit record, and me and my brother would improv a story, like jokes that I made up about this army private, like Beetle Bailey. He was this army guy that was always fucking up. I had a Casio keyboard, and I played the little army drum march music. But I remember there was a pie eating contest in one of our stories. So I got some empty pie tins, and I was just smacking them, clang, 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 to make the sound effects. So that all of that just reminded me of this when you made this comment here, Admiral Wackass. That I like. This is fascinating stuff to me. But Foley, it's a very fascinating art form.
Yeah.
So anyway, where were we? Okay, we got the spear fight, and then he's got the Derringer, and then it's so. What happens here? Oh yeah,
he's going to give him the throat grab.
And he's going to give him the 3 magic fingers of the throat, just like he gave to Denham. And then he decides not to do it. And he has mercy. So it wasn't a big character arc in this movie. They didn't emphasize it too much, but they made mention 2 or 3 times of, you don't want to be a monster like them. It was mentioned at least twice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The
girl kind of talked to him about it, you know? And so he decides not to rip this guy's throat out. He's kicked his ass. He's got the upper hand. And then the guy pulls a gun on him. He grabs, I don't know, another gun or the same little gun that's been kicked out of his hand. Yeah, and then Red shows up and gives it to him with a shotgun. And the other business owners that hate him, they all just blast him. And it's an insane scene because he flies back and lands on that little table. I don't think we have a photo of it, but they shred this guy.
Yeah, they shoot him close range.
Oh, here it is.
3 or 4 times with a shotgun. And until the last shot, he takes it and then stands back up. Boom! I've shot a shotgun many times for years. And I know it's Hollywood, you know, they're suspending, you know, what was it? You know, disbelief or whatever. But close range with a shotty, with a 12 gauge, it's a wrap. But not only was he tough in his business sense, he was also tough physically because he took 4 shotgun blasts, no problem.
That JC Penny Kevlar.
Yes. You can't even notice it. That's how sleek and cool it is. You can't even notice it.
You made me get blood on my new JC Penny blazer.
Oh man.
Now that I'm about to fucking die, JC Penney's not coming here.
Exactly.
How do you fucking mooks like that?
You got blood on my underwear. You wouldn't know what that's like, would you?
Because you fucking savages don't even wear underwear.
Right. And the weirdest part about this, so the towns, these elders of the town, these men that he's been taking all their money, the car dealership guy, old Johnson that owns the farm, this guy that looks like Biff from Back to the Future, but not really Biff, who owns a Double Deuce. They fill this motherfucker with lead hunting pellets.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
And then the cop finally shows up.
There he is.
The police show up in the last 13 seconds of the movie.
What are you guys doing?
This is how the guys get out of they murdered someone. This is an extrajudicial murder. They had no right to do this. They killed him. And the cop's like, what happened here? And then all the guys that shot him go, I didn't see nothing. And it's like, okay.
All right.
He was
Thanks
carrying
for coming
7
out.
shotguns down the stairs.
Dude,
Right.
He tripped.
murdered Sam Elliott, attempted
Yeah.
murder on Old Man Johnson, because had Dalton not pulled him from the fire, he would have
Yeah.
died. They blew up
Yeah.
Red's store. There's got to be laws against explosives in the middle of a town. He ran over the Ford dealership. This dude just does whatever the hell he wants.
Hold on, I want to reenact it. I don't have video, but Shanth, I'm the gunner that shot the guy. I'm one of the gunners, and you're the police guy. Ask me what happened, and then I'll close it up real quick.
Okay, that's right. What happened here?
I didn't see nothing.
Perfect.
Hold on. That's it. Case closed.
Nothing more to see here, guys.
All right, you
Wrap
just
it
hear
up.
the
I'm
Law
going to
and
write
Order-
this up as a broken coffee table and a domestic disturbance.
Right, you just you hear the Law and Order dun dun, and then that's it. So
If
I
nothing
do like that.
happened there, though, did they send a coroner? Does the body get cleaned up?
I don't know. It's
Does
like
everything just stay.
Yeah, the guy's
could you
laying there
imagine?
riddled with bullets.
Oh.
Hey, what happened here? Oh, nothing.
This guy,
All
whoever
right.
he is, I don't know if he's the chief or the sheriff. He goes back to his boss to tell him what happened. He's like, they didn't see nothing. That's it.
Roll credits.
Quickest Law and Order.
Roll credits. We're out of
Roll
here.
Right.
credits, man.
So yeah. Boob Rancher has an interesting theory. JCPenney never recovered. And you know, I bet you if you look at the books and the financials, this is where their slide probably started.
That's
Yeah.
where it started.
This
Jasper.
the Jasper, Missouri JCPenney. A lot of people don't know this. I learned this when I was little from my grandfather.
Yeah.
This was a strategic JCPenney because
It
the area was outnumbered by Montgomery Wards. Montgomery Wards owned this turf.
Sure
And it was
did.
actually the Philadelphia mob ran all the Montgomery Wards. So
In the dojo.
after they completed the takeover of California dojo.
right.
But
That was
this
called
was
hey, it's called phase fucking 2.
We need to do an edit where they just cut to like the head of JCPenney's. They just took out our cornerstone location.
so this is
It's
supposed to be
over.
the linchpin for the JCPenney comeback, man. And Jasper failed him, man. That's really
Jasper,
sad.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Oh, I like this here.
Yeah.
Looks like lead poison.
Looks like-
The dude's laying there with multiple gunshot wounds, and the cops only like scratch the first layer. I'm like, all right.
Like
well,
you got a bunch of dudes in perfect health standing around a man everyone knows they hate.
Everyone
Yeah.
holding a
And
rifle.
this cop is like, what happened?
I know.
and not to
Looks
mention
like-
the thick aroma of gun smoke in the air. When you shoot a gun inside a house like or a building, it's going to smell like gunpowder for a long time. But I guess the cop
Do
didn't
you
have time for that
think
shit.
that there would be more questions after passing all of the fucking bodies on the way from the driveway to this room and the exploded Mercedes flipped
Right.
over in the fucking lawn?
And the guy with the
Holy
knife in
shit.
his stomach and all that kind of shit. No, man, he had
Oh
to.
my
He didn't
God.
have time. That police detective did not have time to waste on this bullshit. He had to get back over to that diner and investigate the pubic hair complaint.
Right. I feel like I am certain that if this guy, if this Officer Johnson or Officer Davidson is what I'll call him,
Yeah.
if he was with Vanna White and Pat Sajak, he would fail this. He would say, another feather in your map. That's what he would say.
That was rough.
This
Or,
motherfucker couldn't put 2 and 2 together. Oh my god.
Or the South Park where he goes, where he's on Wheel of Fortune. And he says somebody that bothers you. It was in blank GGR, and he goes nagger. Or he says nigger, but it was nagger.
Oh my god, dude! I'm telling you though, this and people have tried to downplay it. That Wheel of Fortune feather in your like that probably did more to destroy my soul than anything I've ever seen. Like I watched that and I just went. It wasn't one person. It wasn't 2 people. It's like
Dude.
4 days later. Like
Dude.
you're running out of letters.
You
You're
know,
running
Pat
out of
Sajak.
letters.
Pat Sajak just took his cue cards and threw them up in the air, and he's like, "I'm out of here."
Have you ever seen the one where it was this is the best clip ever. Can we find this clip? Where the solve was supposed to be a it was like wedding or something or honeymoon or whatever or something. It was like take, it was you had to do the same names, and it was shower, and the last one that you had to guess was blank OLD, and the girl saying gold says gold, and there's a part when you watch it, after the gold shower, where you can clearly tell they clipped the show because Pat Sajak couldn't get it together.
Dude, he was just like, what the fuck?
It was beautiful, and it was. Have you seen that clip, Dave?
I haven't seen that. I'm looking right now.
Gold, yeah. Type in Wheel of Fortune gold shower. It'll take care of it for you, man.
Jeez.
Oh, it just makes you want to weep.
That's just an NBA player. He's all by himself going down the other end of the court and just misses a wide open shot.
It's
like,
beautiful. Yeah, it's
when you pointed out that that there's a burning car in the front yard. Yes. There are like 7 dead criminals, and I'm sure he knows they are criminals. And he's like, "Hey, what happened here?
Hey, what's going on over here? Who's the guy under the fucking polar bear?" Jeez Louise. Now you want to come with these questions, officer or detective? Where you been the last 3 weeks since Dalton's been in town? Have they not responded to these bar fights that are happening every night?
Oh my God. I've got it here too, man. Do you need me to share it? You there? I lost you for a second.
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah, I have it if you need it. Let me change everybody's lives. Hang on a second here. For the worse.
I love this guy so much. What happened here? Like, can you imagine if you like walked into your kitchen and there was a cake on the counter that your wife pulled out of the oven, and you just, what did you do? Like, I made a cake. What do you think? What do you think happened here?
You don't smell it. Smells like cake in here, you jackass.
All right, I've got it.
Okay,
I've got it shared. This may upset your quality of life, but here we are. Ready? Let me see if hopefully the audio is shared. Let me share the volume.
Hopefully we'll get a stupid commercial first.
There is a W. You going all the way here or not?
I'd like to solve
Okay.
bridal and gold shower.
Oh.
Sorry. Jen, it's your turn.
I'd like to solve
Okay.
bridal and cold shower.
Yeah, that's
Now watch this.
Well,
Fucking idiot.
well, you have no cash, but we'll give you $1,000 because that's the minimum per round. So everybody has a little bit of money, and that's all that matters.
And
Pat's like, please cut. Please make this stop.
dude, he said, "You fucking moron, you jackass."
Beautiful.
They were like, "Cut, get her out of here. Take her outside. Get her out of here right now,
Man.
Right.
because she's too dumb to be in here."
That's pretty much the end of Roadhouse, guys. There's a final scene where Dr. Muffins or Swayze are swimming in a lake, and I don't have a picture of that, but that's pretty much it. So this movie was about a bouncer who was so badass that he was world famous. I know he was nationally famous. Comes to Jasper, Missouri, stops the world's either most brilliant or stupid criminal, and Bigfoot makes an appearance, and you get to see Sam Elliott's pubes, and Denham tells him he wants to make sweet love to him at the lakeside. This movie is insane, and I love it for that. I'd never seen it. I missed out growing up, but I made up for it. What an insane movie. Totally crazy.
Dude, that JCPenney line killed me.
We need,
That shit.
We need to make a comic book, right? That is just thrown together from photo edited screen caps of all these movies. And we just script it, like a Mad Libs from hell. But I will tell you this,
Make it
guys,
make sense.
The joy of these movies and what I love about these movies is whatever craziness is going on in the world, whatever lunacy we're dealing with, these movies are so completely, off that particular center of political correctness and everything else, that they just, it totally changes the way that you view things. You watch this and think, oh, wow, so this is the attitude of this time. These are the things we could do in stories and movies. You could do that with every generation. And it's just a blast watching these, man. It's just a blast.
It's totally crazy. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know there'd be such insanity in this. I thought it'd be just very straightforward. But some of the stuff that doesn't make any sense it's the thing I was saying about the exaggeration in my drawing of Beef Law. It doesn't make sense so much that it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
oh,
exactly.
I get it. It's kind of like it's totally different tone. It's kind of like Mad Max. You know, Mad Max Fury Road. You watch that movie and you feel like tired afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And it's so insane that you're like, I get it. I totally get this. So
controlled chaos. You know, it's just it's nuts, man. And that's the stuff, right? It's like we watch these movies. Like this is to show you how big Van Damme and how big all these action movies were and Seagal was. That movie stars of other genres were attempting to get in on the action scene, action movie, scene, and trying to make sure that they could get their careers, to the next level by trying to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mel Gibson. I think actually Mel Gibson kind of paved the way because he was this guy from this indie film for all intents and purposes, this indie hit, from Australia. And he comes in and he makes Lethal Weapon. And these movies become, with Richard Donner, of course, the late Richard Donner. And these movies become a massive, massive hit. And people are thinking, well, now, wait a second. So it's not just Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, who also, come to think of it, his start with Rocky, the same thing. It's not just them that can make money. And this is low budget. Think about that for a minute. How much was the budget to go film in a middle of nowhere town? Mm-hmm. You build a couple of sets, you get yourself a monster truck and some pyrotechnics, and that's about it. That's not a lot of money. And you can make a ton of cash. So I'm sure the studios were looking at that. Right. It's sure that's why that movie exists.
Right.
And what a cool poster.
Yeah, man.
Like the lettering and the double deuce behind him. What a cool poster, man.
Yeah. I didn't get the movie at first. When I watched it, I didn't know how I felt about it. I was just like so confused that it's insane, the movie. And then as the last like 24, 36 hours gone by, I'm like, I get it. It's supposed to be crazy. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
At first, I'm like, he wants to fuck this guy. The Bigfoot truck is here. He's stealing 10% of nothing. I fucking brought JC Penny to this town. Like, okay, I get it. Now, great news, guys. Not next week, but hold on. Share, stop screen, share screen. Hold on, share screen. Not next week, but very soon. I talked to him today. Todd Senafonte, I've already told you about it. Van Damme's stunt double and photo double and all this for many movies, right from Sudden Death up till he did stuff for him even recently, like 2017, 18. But he did a ton of these movies. He was on set. He's in Double Team. He does a ton of the stunts in Double Team. I think he was the main stunt guy in Double Team. I think there were two stunt guys in it, but I think he was the main one. Todd is going to join us live and give us the lowdown on what it's like to be with Van Damme, to be with Mickey Rourke, to be with Dennis Rodman. It's going to be so much fun. It's not going to be next week, though. So, Shanth, you and I, we started this. We brought in Jericho. I think this is going great, adding Jericho. Do you feel like we should let Jericho pick the next movie? Because he hasn't picked one yet.
Oh, my God, yes, man.
Oh, wow.
So double team is not next week. I don't know when. Todd said he'll be available in a couple weeks. Wednesday night, Todd Senafonte, the stuntman for this movie and many Van Damme movies. He'll be here. You can ask him all kinds of shit. He's a fun, cool guy. Not next week, but soon. But Jericho, it is yours. What do you want to do next Wednesday night?
Oh, man. Well, you guys got to give me 24 hours. I mean, I got to bring the heat, man. I can't pick no bullshit. Okay. This is a very serious platform, man, and I mean that. I will shoot you guys an email tomorrow or a text message and let you know, maybe the group text.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I out of respect for this show and the movies you've done before, I need to give that some serious thought.
Okay.
Right on.
Because I've seen so many of these crazy action movies from the 80s and 90s that I got to pick a good one, man. I can't take this lightly.
Right on.
Okay. If you look at my YouTube channel, you can see I have a playlist of this show, so you can see what we've already done. And if you want to revisit one, that's more than fine with me.
Yeah. You know what? It just came to me. It just popped in my head. So I'm going with this one. Have you guys done Lethal Weapon?
Yes.
Yes.
And I had never seen it before, Jericho, and I loved it.
Opening scene, guys.
Yes.
9-year-old Jericho Green. That changed my life. I didn't know what I was seeing, but I knew I liked it. I knew I liked it. When she got up out on the ledge. Okay,
Give me some time.
We'll give you time, and I'll tell you this, man. If you want to see, when we did that one, I think we had just done. We broke our regular, motif, because I think you had just watched it, or we were just talking about it. But we talked about It's a Wonderful Life, and we followed that up shortly thereafter with Lethal Weapon, and we talked about Lethal Weapon as being a Christmas movie in a sense, ending with a Christmas scene. And we talked about how Danny Glover and his family in that movie are very much like, what he's missing in his life. He's not coming in from the cold. He's by himself. He's got no roots. And he meets this family man who has roots and has everything that in his mind that his world can't ever be a part of. But when he helps Danny Glover's character, I can't think of Danny Glover as anything other than Danny Glover. It's the problem. I know he's Roger Murtaugh. I know this, but it's like Danny Glover. But when he saves Murtaugh's daughter, because the worst parts of his life, like what happened with his wife, we find out in the sequel, come into Murtaugh's life, he realizes that he can protect that family. And that thing about being invited in and him coming in is one of those things that is such a wonderful payoff for those characters, and I love that movie, man. I love the we talk about Roadhouse and we talk about all these flicks and stuff like that, but I will tell you this, there's a lot of times, where you've got characters like that who go through a ton of stuff in their lives, and sometimes it can be as simple. I know it was for me, as seeing like from a distance a happy family out doing something and thinking that's possible because I see an example of it.
Right.
And when you take that example away, when you take the example of masculinity, when you take the example of men and women working together to build a family, to build a society, each playing their unique role, you lose so much, man. And that's what makes looking at these movies so fun, is because they remind us of something that has been absolutely, scraped out of our society. And it's time that we just put it back in, man. It's time for us to just sort of say, here it is, guys. It's better. Deal with it.
I'm looking at the playlist here, and I've just figured out the movie that we should do next week. It's part of the reason, because you guys may not know this, but Jericho Green is not my real name. So I got my name from my two favorite action movies as a kid, Jericho Jackson and Action Jackson, and Leroy Green from The Last Dragon. So I think we should do Action Jackson.
I'm down for that. Absolutely.
Okay.
It has everything we need: muscles, message, titties.
You've never seen anyone drive a car up a flight of stairs.
How big was that house, guys? How big? He drove the car and didn't hit any walls. Drove the car upstairs, turned down the hallway, and drove into a bedroom. Guys,
that was when people cared, when they were making movies, man. That is when society cared. And that's the thing too, though, right? When I think about Action Jackson, I remember the trailers for that, man, and I was like, because that's how big of an event it was for us. But when you see Action Jackson, and when you see an actor like Carl Weathers, starting with again, one of the first movies we did, Rocky, with him playing Apollo, that was a movie star, and I remember thinking, why don't we see Carl Weathers anymore? When they brought him back for The Mandalorian, I can't think of a single person who wasn't overjoyed to see Carl Weathers in for all intents and purposes, an action, big, epic role in that show. He's a movie star. You can't just make those. They happen. They're there.
Yeah, and he has range. He was in Happy Gilmore. He could play funny too.
Amazing in Happy Gilmore.
And in I think in Rocky he had more of the athletics physique. But in Action Jackson, dude, he bulked up. He was huge, man.
Predator, he wasn't small. He was pretty huge.
And any action movie where we can get the star in a double bicep pose, I'm down.
Yeah. Jeez. That's some serious stuff, man.
And Vanity, she was hot back then, man. R.I.P.
I never heard of her till I saw that movie like 2 years ago.
So, yeah, she's dead now, but
yeah. All right, guys. Well,
Action Jackson.
If you like this, make sure you guys check out Jericho's channel. Jericho Green, he's got a big channel. Shanth and Jetty sub to his channel. Make sure you're subscribed to this one. Hit the like, all that good stuff. Leave a comment too if you have something you want to say. And also check out our comics, Truth, Justice, American Way, and Nosfero. And we want to thank you guys so much for being here. I will leave you with this. We love Denim. We dedicate the end of this show to Denim. He died too young, but he died doing what he loves.